blue on my lips, even to this day.
You look like a 5-year-old ate a sucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are ready to go?
No, I want to continue along this conversation.
Well, that's too bad, because you're going to have to wait. Welcome back to another game of Skyfall 5e. How was the week, everybody?
Amazing!
Excellent.
Nice and
Yeah.
nice.
Dude,
Anything
had a
interesting
birthday.
happen? Oh,
No!
saw a coyote.
Connor,
congratulations.
what do you like? I'm gonna give you 17.
You're about a decade off.
You're 7?
You're 30. Dude, yours was way better.
Just remember, in 2018, age is just a number. And prison is just a word. Well,
Okay.
it's good to have you guys all back. We'll be picking up where you left off in the small little room in a familiar tavern in the town of Seba, where you guys have recently taken a clockwork wasp and smashed a magical gem into it. As we come back, I shall tell you what it is that the thing does, and then leave the rest of today's adventuring up to your whims. Now, who is going to hold on to this item? Or at least write it down.
I'll write it down.
Okay. The wasp has 2 actions that you can perform with it. The first of which is based off of a charge system. It has 2 charges which refresh at the end of the day, which you can use to force a DC 15 wisdom saving throw on somebody within 120 feet, and if they fail, they take 2d12 psychic damage. The second action that you can take with this thing is to actually summon it, and the wasp itself will transform into a wasp demon that will devour and kill anything it can get a hold of until it either is slain in battle or until an hour has passed.
Now, by anything it can get a hold of, is that like
Anything.
allies?
This creature doesn't understand the concept of allies.
It's just summoning a demon.
Great!
I vote to
I
put it in the room
summoned
with
this.
Connor.
And it eats Kalik.
Now, after an hour, does it become a little clockwork bee again?
Yes, it reverts back to being a figurine. Or if it's slain in battle. So if somebody can deal enough damage to it, it will revert back to being a figurine.
Does it have, whether it's, I guess it doesn't really matter. We can't know its stats because we don't really know what it is.
Mhm.
Does it still have the same properties as a regular clockwork thing where it has like the, I need to take an hour each day to repair it? Or does the Sovereign Stone kind of...
No, you don't have to worry
use
about that.
thing? Okay, cool. So it's just
Yeah.
a thing now.
Also, what did you want to fashion this thing to do? Because you can set it up to be like an alarm or something like that, right? Or to make it like move and jitter around. Like, did you have an idea of which of those you were hoping for?
Not really.
Okay,
I guess moving around would probably be like the pretty basic.
sure.
See, I think it moves like randomly normally.
Okay. So I would say that this object also has another action that you can do, which is non-magical, to simply... there's a button that you can press, and if you press it, it'll, move a foot or two and flap its wings. Not flying or anything, but just, as like a moving figurine. Speaking of which, if you do use the summoning and it falls, then you will have to wait another day before you can use it.
Alright, now we just need 4 more Sovereign Stones to put into this bee.
Or we can make an army of bees. But no, that's silly.
Army of bees.
I have the rough stats. I'll watch the replay later and get a really good stat card going.
You can just keep making clockwork statues and then put new gems in each one of them until
Right.
you have like a Captain Planet's B episode going on.
I don't know. I've seen Captain Planet with Don Cheadle. That does not end well. Captain Planet, why?
The bee with the power of heart just does nothing.
You guys have not seen Captain Planet with Don Cheadle? Just so recommended.
Captain Planet, Don Cheadle.
Oh
Don't-
my god. There's like 7 of them and they're all amazing.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody's having some digestion troubles.
100% me because I inhaled food so I can start talking. Alright, so we have a B now.
You guys have a bee?
And we're in Sheba.
And
Yes.
we're waiting for Bar Jogger to not be so
Pissed.
ornery.
Mm-hmm.
That's a word, right? Yes.
Undead.
We waiting a long ass time for that shit.
Well, seems like we have a new weapon that hopefully won't suck the souls out of, well, you. And I'll gesture to you.
That'd be nice.
Excuse me.
I'm done transporting to other worlds, at least for a while, I hope.
Yeah, that was a bit odd. We might need to speak to the librarian about that. Speaking of, have you gotten any word from him lately? We haven't gone this long with complete radio silence.
The last time I tried, I was unsuccessful. I mean, that was a couple of days ago, I believe, so, I mean, I could try again. I'd definitely like to hear something. Or at least
Hmm.
give him some information.
There,
And then, you know.
Don't forget you have that other necklace as well.
well, that was actually bringing me to my next point. I didn't disclose this earlier, but I had a brief conversation with Metri. Something that isn't quite as easy to do. He's not quite as easy to get a hold of as your librarian. And he said regarding the necklace that it wasn't necessarily an evil, just a complication, is I believe the word he used.
Ah, yes.
So take that as you will. I'm assuming it's a tool of some kind, one that we might be able to use. But I'm hoping that Metri would have told us if it was anything but.
Speaking of the necklace, actually, I only checked it like an hour ago, basically, right?
Yeah, you could look at it again if you wanted.
I don't think I would be drawn to right yet. Probably next day
Sure.
I'd look at it.
No, didn't we check it up in the mountains and then we came down?
Has it been a little while? Yeah, I guess you're right.
It's been a little while.
Okay, yeah. Can see if there's been any buzz.
Okay. You go ahead and grab the amulet and give it a look. And you don't see anything. It's all just the old messages from before. Somebody talking about a pursuing of great souls, and you guys kind of asking for some clarity.
Nothing new. It's all or it's just the same 3 messages.
Now, to kind of give a little bit more info for where you guys are at, it is mid to late in the day, and you guys are at the tavern. So if you have any business that you want to get up to, let me know. Otherwise, you guys can go to bed and sleep here if you wish. You have paid for a room, I believe, the
Yeah.
one that you're currently in.
Yeah, I think Edgar, seeing it's a bit cramped, I'd kind of squeeze up against the door and try to open it without smacking Kalik in the back, and I would go get my own room.
Sure. It costs only a silver piece.
Nice.
Right, I would wait till probably later in the evening,
Hmm.
and then I would try to see if I find a quiet place and see if I can get in touch with the librarian.
Okay.
And while this is going on, I'm researching and dabbling with a spell I picked up not too long ago to summon a familiar.
Oh,
Oh damn.
Okay.
Kalik, would you mind taking a look at because we don't really know what this thing does. As long as you're careful, it won't. I don't think it'll sting you. But I'll hold out the bee to him.
I'll gingerly pick it up. It's just like super fucking. This is nightmare fuel.
It's just a toy.
No. Who
I mean,
in
it's
their
not a
right
toy
minds puts a sovereign stone in a bee?
Connor, do it with the accent now. Be mad with the accent.
I'll
I
reluctantly
didn't even.
pick it up. You of all people were almost killed and taken away by bees.
I don't even remember that. All I remember was darkness, hurt, being sore, and then all of a sudden I'm in Arillo's back.
Well, picture the sight, you being carried away by fucking... was not pleasant. That was not a pleasant experience. Never again.
I don't imagine it was. But I didn't technically win the raffle, so I just did what people told me to do. I mean, if you want, we can rip it out right now, and then I can just make another one, but I'm going to need 10 gold worth of supplies.
Kalik, I would like you to make for me a straight luck roll, please.
Oh,
Oh, the die was on your side, too.
it opens up in your shit. Oh, nice. That is
Awesome.
way above average.
Something draws your attention to the bee figurine that is in your hand. Or rather, the wasp figurine that's in your hand.
I take a long, hard look at it.
Sure. As you stare at the thing and examine its contours, it certainly looks like a fairly lifelike recreation, though not quite as terrifying given that it's made of metal instead of having all the sort of insectoid portions of it and the colorings and the weird textures and all that. But as you're staring at the thing, you find that your gaze is almost drawn towards this tiny little third eye that you guys have placed up at the front here by socketing the gem into this creature's head. And as you look at it and kind of, inch forward a bit, staring at the thing, you feel like something is staring back at you.
Oh, that's rich.
Perhaps you should hold on to that. That thing is... That thing is really creepy. Really, really, really creepy.
Alright, so we're just gonna find out
feel
what
like-
it does on the fly then.
That little gem, the Sovereign Stone,
Hmm?
I feel like it's looking at me.
The stone.
Yeah, but I'll identify it if you want.
I mean, if you don't mind. I'll hold it while you do your ritual thing.
Well, I have to touch it, so hand it over.
Well, I'll hold. Do you have to touch it while you're doing the whole ritual, or can I just give it to you when you're just about done?
No, just fucking hand it over.
Alright, this seems a little... Alright, there you go. Why'd you even give it to me in the first place?
I didn't give it to you.
When you finish the identify ritual, Edgar, you're able to go and get yourself a room during that time, and you find out the two main components to this item, Kalik, which is that it can reach out and psychically damage people at your behest, and it can also be used to transform into a wasp demon. Upon picking that up and thinking about how this little statuette kind of stared back into your soul, you can't help but feel a little uneasy.
Those fucking dwarves.
Boy, I don't know about these sovereign stones. They're just... Are they all tied to the hells?
No.
Or demons
They
and
all
stuff, or is
they
it
all
just-
have domains, more or less.
Do they?
Or- yeah. Ours is just a little bit more sinister, I think, than others.
So
Is
we
there-
put it in a B.
Is there
I
any
mean,
way?
Bees are the most evil creatures to begin with, and then we put one of the most sinister gems or domains of a gem into the most evil creature ever. It's not a good combo.
Are they as evil as centipedes?
Well,
Because they're pretty evil.
I'd rather not think about it, but
I mean, aren't all bugs evil?
sure.
Anyways, do you know if there's a can you choose which effect you activate?
Would I
Or-
know that?
Yes. You can choose which.
Okay, yeah.
You can kind of think of it as being an item with 2 charges for one spell and then 1 charge for another.
Fair enough. I personally do not want to hold on to this piece of shit. So,
Weren't you
gingerly
supposed
hand
to
it back
come
over.
throw it in a room with someone?
Yeah. I would not recommend being next to this thing when you summon it.
Do we even want to summon it? It seems
No.
pretty chaotic.
And
I will say from your Identify spell, you have no idea what's going to come out on the other end if you do summon this.
I'm so excited.
only in dire circumstances when we're not close to it.
I'm so excited.
Imagine summoning a demon into your own hands and then just hoping it's going to go towards your foe.
It's not going to go towards our foe, it's going to go towards its easiest target. And who do you think that's going to be?
You.
Yeah.
I just look over at Arillo, who's giggling in the corner.
Did you hand it back to me?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, I'll put it on the floor. Check out what this button does. And I'll
No, no,
push
no,
it.
no, no.
He presses a button, and thankfully it doesn't summon the wasp demon, but the thing does jitter around for a moment and kind of walks back and forth for a second, and then kind of looks over, and the wings flap for a moment, and then it pauses and just it comes to a halt.
That's what it was originally supposed to do. And then we put a magical stone in it.
I'm sorry. I just picture Kalik like rushing to get up and like firing off a half-hearted spell like, out of his hand, like in a panic, while he's like, "Oh shit!" But I'm not in the room, so.
You cast a mage hand and swat it away.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm gonna cast Mage Hand to pick it up and put it back into your hands. Please, please respect its.
I'll put it away for now. Magic.
For brevity's sake, I'm gonna summon a certain animal, but I won't disclose what it is quite yet.
Sounds interesting. Okay, you summon a certain animal. An undisclosed animal.
Okay, I can't keep a secret. I summon it right in front of Tidge. It's a Jew the cat. The same cat from
Oh,
a June's house.
look at you. Aren't you special?
That's a bit on the nose.
That's all I've got planned.
Is Andrew's
That's it. He's already gone.
he's
In the other room, I'm reaching for my javelins, and I don't know why.
Oh wait, oh yeah, you shouldn't.
You're
Oh.
like sharpening one, and then you just kind of like your ear twitches for a second. Like, oh, okay, just go back.
No, I'll give him a heads up. And I'll
Yeah,
snap
that'd be
him
good.
off.
Because otherwise you're gonna lose him, and it totally sucks when you lose him with familiar.
Oh, I know. Snap my finger and blink it out.
I've got to make one for myself. I'm thinking like a giant hawk that's like the size of half the size of me. But I don't know yet. I've lost so many. Kind of reluctant to. I'm gun shy, if you will.
Sorry.
Okay, your track record is not very
The track
good.
record for anything is not very good.
Except for
I
being
don't
a
know why you
cripple.
guys follow me on this.
He says it with like tufts of hair missing out of his head.
That's
Speaking of which, before we go to bed, I'm gonna use all my spell slots for Cure Wounds to try to cure some of his ailments.
Okay. Are you guys gonna sleep here then? Because then, if you do, you'll get 2 injury rolls instead of 1, Tidge.
Ah, sure.
Okay. Do you guys all kind of tuck in for the night here?
I do the
Librarian bit? You
Yep.
unfortunately do not hear from him.
Oh, he did.
No.
That's a bit disconcerting.
Please make 2 rolls as you guys turn in.
Not each, just one each, right? Titch makes 2.
Yeah, Tidge makes 2 for his injuries.
I want to roll, but I feel so left out. I have no
Yay, I
interest.
still have
Aw.
my concussion.
I don't have any more.
Yeah.
Oh, 4. That does so much.
Did you roll in cosplay though? That increases your modifier.
I mean, I have it here.
Now, you guys turn in for the night, and when you wake up the next day, Tidge, you're still just as injured as before and all that jazz. But it's a new day, and you guys have the rest of it just sort of laid out in front of you, and a few important things that you could do about town. Everything seems to be more or less where you left it, though.
Steve, did you get a 20 in your injury roll?
Nope, I still have my concussion.
Okay, just checking.
Business as usual.
Yep.
Well, okay, like it didn't really work. Well, it kind of worked. It felt like I had a better chance, but
Oh, wait, do you have level 3 spells?
I don't.
Healing spells? Oh,
I have to
okay.
wait till the next level.
I gave that to you by accident. Oh, well.
The hacks.
The hacks.
Almost got him.
Daddy.
So as you guys wait in your rooms, are you... What is it? Edgar has his own room, and then the 4 of you are sleeping in one?
Yes, master.
apparently.
Okay. Edgar, you wake up nice and rested in your shitty little mattress here. The rest of you, well, you're a little cramped in the space here. It's a little musty and everything. What do you guys want to do?
We better talk about what we wanted to talk to Barjarger about.
Yeah, I would
Hopefully
head
he's in a good
downstairs.
mood.
Be at the table. For
Yeah.
sure. Just waiting for everyone.
I'd head down.
Okay. You guys eventually meet, gathering in the main room, and when you do, you see that the tavern owner, Vesma, she walks over to you guys. It's this half-orc woman who seems to run the place, and she tosses you a piece of paper onto your group's table, and she says, "Someone left this for you a while ago."
Uh-oh. I would kind of... Actually, no. Edgar would just be chilling in his chair right now, relaxing.
Sure. The note is just a folded up piece of paper with a bit of plain red wax keeping the thing closed. She, after throwing the thing there, turns to you guys and asks if you want anything to eat or drink. If you wish,
What-
you can throw in a couple copper pieces to get like your daily rations here.
What kind of breakfast do you have?
She just looks at you and says, "Stew."
We'll just kind of give her a blank stare and be like, I'm okay.
I like stew.
I'll take some breakfast stew.
She looks at the rest of you who are less picky and, kind of throws down your order and then heads back to the little bar there.
Who serves stew for breakfast?
Poor people, Edgar. Poor people.
Oh, thank God I was never there.
We didn't choose the most illustrious tavern in the place, in the city.
Did you guys end up sleeping in that cramped room?
Yes, master.
You'll speak when spoken to, and I'll kind of give her a wink.
Yeah, it was
All
all
right.
fine until Arillo started cutting his morning farts.
Oh, imagine that just stinks up a room.
It's a
All
very
right.
small, confined space.
All right, there, party leader. Why don't you go ahead and read that note? See if Barjarger wants our heads.
Does the seal mean anything? Like, does it?
The
Or is it
seal
just
is
a little bit
plain.
of wax? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I'll break it and open it up.
Okay. When you open it up, the page seems to be completely blank. And for a moment, you don't see anything. And then, almost as if detecting that you're confused, a bunch of magical writing kind of just glitters across the page. And you see that, sure enough, it is a note from Barjarger, and he's summoning you back towards the Necro Hall whenever you can reach there.
Well, he's summoning us back, so he must have some information for us.
All right.
Adi wants to kill us.
After you've read
True,
the summons, the writing just disappears, and the thing seems to turn to some inert piece of paper.
Tidge, what's his kind of tone, if there was any?
It's tough to discern tone from written word, but I don't think. I was just a simple note. I mean, he could be furious. He could be just complacent or normal. You know. Was there any punctuation, like 6 exclamation points, or was it just "come here"?
Get wrecked, scrub, at symbol, pound, pound. Yeah, no, none of that.
Yeah, it just seemed like a normal summons.
Alright, well, last time we showed up, he wanted all of us to walk in, so might as well keep this a group effort.
May as well.
And I'll just kind of wait for their stews to be done.
Are you guys doing anything else while sitting around this morning and having some breakfast? It appears that the tavern you guys have picked has been good in some respects. Nobody really seems to eat here, and you guys are kind of the only people, so you don't have to deal with any of the riffraff, apart from Vesma herself.
I guess no.
Okay.
Just headed straight to Barjarger. Best not to keep him waiting.
You guys sit for a bit, go ahead and eat, and then hop up and head on out. Now, when you guys step outside, just kind of looking around at what you see as far as the morning weather goes and all that, you get a strange sense, and you guys spend maybe 5-10 minutes walking through the streets before you all kind of come to the conclusion that you've passed some time while you were in the tavern, and you can tell that you've time-lapsed.
Did it happen again?
I believe so.
In some time. Fuck.
Sorry, did you say that happened while we were at the table?
You don't know when it happened, but you can tell by walking outside that it's happened recently.
Well, I think the good news is Barjarger, of anybody, would potentially be the most understanding of our situation. We did tell him, right, Tidge, that we were great souls, pretty much right off the bat.
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
if he knew of a June, and a June was a great soul, so
I don't think much gets past the old man, so
it's
we'll
been around
go.
for a while.
Look, we'll be honest. I'm trying to see the good in people, and we've seen good in Barjarger, so let's just give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. We good to head out then?
I'm good.
Oh, actually,
I'll
we're
look to the
technically
rest.
on the way.
Yeah.
You guys wander through the streets of Seba and gradually make your way across the river, headed for the Necro Halls, and stepping up to this large, illustrious building where you know Barjarger tends to be, you wander into the hall and summon for a guard. He tells you that Barjarger, sure enough, is there and waiting for you guys. It's just up to you who you want to bring in and who you want to leave out here.
Is he in high spirits today, or do you know?
The guard looks over at you and he says, "Yeah, he seems to be doing well. But that can change just like that, you know." And he, snaps his fingers.
Oh, yes. I guess we better not keep him waiting any longer.
Best go talk to him now. Yeah.
Can you tell us how long it's been since we were last here?
Must have been at least a few days, was it not?
Yeah.
He pauses for a second and then kind of turns back to you, and he tells you it's the 17th of autumn.
Someone write that shit down.
Alright, thanks. We'll head in.
Okay. Now, is your whole group going in, including your 2 blasphemous tieflings?
He was furious the other day. Yeah, I was furious the other day, and he didn't seem to mind, so...
Yeah,
They've been
I
really
think he kinda
preoccupied.
wanted. Yeah, you kind of wanted everybody in there, didn't he?
After
He did
your
last time.
2nd century, you start to ease up on the racism, it seems.
I think it gets worse.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Okay. You guys head over and wander in through the door and find, positioned as usual, there's Barjarger at his little chair there next to the desk. Different tomes open on this big wooden construct that he has here, and numerous writings he seems to be in between. He looks over his shoulder for a brief moment at your group, and then he squints as he sees you guys entering, and then he kind of turns back towards his work and he says, "You're late."
We are. We have the unfortunate curse of being great souls.
Yes, yes.
Amounts.
He stands up from his desk and walks over to you guys, and he gives you a sympathetic look, and you can see just from the way that, his ghost kind of hangs about that this is one of his better days. You're fortunate, at least for now. And he turns to you, Tidge, saying, "It was just a joke. I'm happy to see you returning."
Excellent. Well, it's good to speak with you again. We got your summons.
Good. There have been a few developments since your break.
Hopefully it wasn't for too long.
Well,
What might they have been?
I don't know if you've noticed, but the town has forgotten largely about the explosion those few days ago. We've worked very hard to keep things under wraps, but there is something unfortunate lurking below the surface here.
Okay.
I've done some researching, and he kind of walks away from you guys at this point and steps over to his desk, and you can see he's kind of moving papers about, and he says, "In the archives there's a great deal of information. I'm not entirely sure what it is that I did last time we spoke, but I remember destroying a puzzle box. And I did write some notes down. There's a theory that I'm running with right now, and I'm almost certain of it, which has to do with the June. And I must say that your group is in a grave amount of danger."
What else is new, right?
Indeed.
And I'll just kind of try to keep the mood light, seeing that he's okay so far.
At least you're accustomed to it, which is good. Better to laugh than to retreat in on yourself in terror.
Some of us more accustomed than others.
I elbow Kalik.
There
Anyways.
is something to rejoice about. The destruction of that puzzle box is a step in the right direction. And I believe that we've set some evil forces back by doing so. But time will tell if they have their way. Remember a while back with the June's case, I've gone through some of the old records. I remember saying something to you about possession. Do you recall that?
Briefly, and I looked at Tidge. And it's, to be honest with you, Ajun, something we've had on the mind ever since
Just call
we
him
found...
a June.
Sorry, right, Barjarger.
Burger.
His
It's
mood
some-
shifts immediately.
Everyone does.
am a June.
It's something we've had on the mind for quite some time, ever since we saw June without his skeleton out in the desert. I forget who it was, and I gestured to the rest of the party, but the idea of swapping vessels came up.
Yeah, and I do recall you saying something about that, and that we kind of came to the conclusion that he wasn't possessed.
Indeed. When things had turned sour, if these records are correct, there were a good number of tests that were run on a June, and we were able to confirm that there's no possession. However, the description from the puzzle box that you gave me, I am certain, almost 100%, that it was a tool, a realm, used by a long-dead necromancer who, well, has either found a way to possess a June without us detecting it, or has managed to convince him to work for him.
Well, in the form of possession, it's not something I've dealt with quite frequently. Does the host retain any personality whatsoever?
They can. It depends on the strength of the spirit. A weak ghost may be able to inhabit somebody and push some of their actions in one direction, whereas a particularly strong entity could just take control altogether, maybe even killing the previous psyche.
The only reason I ask is, we did have a June on the ropes, and he seemed quick to flee. Now, I don't know what value a June's body had, but I'm assuming when that feeling of self-preservation kicks in, and it's simply a form of possession, unless the body was extremely valuable, the ghost, or whatever it is that could be possessing a June, could have very easily pressed us into a difficult situation that might have resulted in our death. Instead, a June gave us an opening, and here we are in front of you today. So, I think, and I look to the rest of the group, that's just my take on it, but he was weaving in and out of combat, very careful about himself and his condition, that being of the living, I'm assuming.
Yeah, there were.
It's possible. If he turned to flee, it could be that you were dealing with the real June, and he simply did not wish to die. Or perhaps he's more useful to this old necromancer than we know.
Mm-hmm. So, that's the setback.
So, I don't have a lot of experience with undead things like that, but if he is in any sort of contact with some sort of powerful necromancer like that, do we even really have a hope of killing him?
Well, that brings me to my next point, and the answer to that is a tentative yes. There's something you should know. The entity that I suspect is working with or controlling a June is incredibly powerful and has lived for thousands of years. He has achieved true lichdom and is known as the Winter Lich, so we call him, though he's had many names reportedly through history. If I'm correct, and that's what we are dealing with, the only way you will be able to undo the Winter Lich is by finding his phylactery and destroying it. Phylactery is a ritual item that liches use to bind their souls to the plane. And until it's destroyed, they'll simply return over and over again.
I don't suppose you know where it is.
Well, my initial thought upon hearing about what was in the puzzle box was to destroy it, hoping that his phylactery would be in there. Did you search the place?
I looked at Tidge. In all honesty, it was burned to smoldering ruins when we left it. I did briefly, and I stress briefly, look at the surrounding islands. The main one, not so much. So I couldn't tell you definitively. But from what I was able to find, which was nothing, it seemed like whatever was important was burned down by a June and abandoned. We did give him 8 hours after all.
We did, it's true.
It certainly sounds like... No, it must be. I'm certain that that's his preferred plane. If there was a place to keep his phylactery, it would be there. You searched the whole thing?
No. We, after nearly dying to him, initially when we engaged our hut, they gave us 8 hours. He, like Edgar said, he destroyed everything, and then we were kind of shaken, so pretty much hightailed it from there.
I mean, there was a whole side room that we didn't investigate. The surrounding islands, we saw bodies being moved, and from the ruins that I could tell, the main, and I'm closing my eyes here trying to recollect, the main pyramid, when I took shelter in one of the rooms, was a preparation station that was quite gruesome. Blood, tables, torture tools, that kind of thing. And we did see humans being marched across the bridge of the leftmost island.
I'll hold up a finger.
He looks over at you.
And I'll just kind of bow very respectfully, not knowing if it's out of place for me to talk.
Mm-hmm. He
And I'll
doesn't seem
say,
to stop you, for whatever that counts for.
there was a fountain, one which the undead seem to be climbing from.
Likely a well to some underworld. Who knows, though? The Winter Lich is great and powerful. He's managed to live for so long that some of what he's seen is probably lost to history. I'm sure he has spells at his beck and call that we've long forgotten.
Do you know if he's known for going around with a group of undead monks? Those seem to be his...
Yes.
Yeah, so that's not really an Ajun thing.
If you saw those with the June, then there's definitely some sort of cooperation between the two. The undead monks have always been the Winter Lich's personal guard that he likes to keep about.
If you recall, one monk got away.
It's true.
It's possible, then... It's most likely that the phylactery was left there, and that one of these was able to take it while you were in the hut. We won't know for certain, but it seems like the most likely course of events. You'll have to find them and destroy it if you want to have this finished with.
But if a June took the phylactery, how could it have been transported with whatever was inside of his skin within the desert? That's what I don't understand, is if he was able to rip out his innards and go somewhere else, how was he able to take objects with him? Is that typical?
Who knows? They could have been. Perhaps he traveled to another plane. I wouldn't put it past the Winter Lich. Or maybe... It is puzzling. There's no spell that really resembles what has been done there. What you described, the removal of the skeletons, completely foreign.
Well, perhaps not something that we can wholly rely on, but it could be a sign that we didn't miss the phylactery if it wasn't on Ajune's body. Although we didn't find anything on him whatsoever other than his robes, so...
I want to work more closely with your group on this, though I'm sure you've seen I'm not always the most helpful, depending on how my days are going. I'd like to keep a correspondence with you, if that's all right.
Of course.
I can't leave this place, but I can't help but feel like this is something that must be done. The Winter Lich has disappeared for a long period of time, and now to know that his home plane has been found in the form of this puzzle box and destroyed, we might finally be able to rid the world of a great evil. I want your group to go and stock up on every bit of radiant magic you can possibly get a hold of. Holy water, magical swords, silver your weapons, everything. It's the best piece of advice that I can give you right now.
We can do that, but unfortunately we're a bit low on funds. So, how much was it cost to silver our weapons?
At least a few hundred gold. I can see to it. Perhaps the coffers at the hall here have some additional funding that I can move your way, but I won't be able to offer much. Mostly advice. There is something else, though. These are all things that I've deduced a few days ago. Since then, I've done a little bit more digging, and I have called on some of the other mages to scry for Ajun and the Winter Lich in what limited capacity that we could. But I haven't been able to locate any of them. They must be either shielded at all times, or something else may be afoot. But I cannot seem to get a hold of them in any way.
Could they be in a different plane?
To
I'm
say
not
they
sure
may
how.
have.
It's possible. I've had the group scry at least once a day for the past few days, and I'll continue to have them do so. My word is enough to push such things up to the top of pretty much any list. But it does support the fact, or the theory, that they may be in a different plane at this point. Now, which plane they may be in, I don't know. But at least it gives us some time. If they're on a different plane, then the June or the Winter Lich will hopefully not be able to scry upon you, and maybe that'll be some time to, as you said, get funding and prepare.
Seems like every time we're close to getting funding and I look to the rest of the group, the man dies. So, we'll see what we can do.
Barjarga looks at you like he's not sure how to take that, but he gives you kind of like a solemn nod and sort of turns back towards his writings there.
Is there anywhere around town that we could go to find some sort of paying work? Anything you might suggest?
The kind of coin you'll need is not something you can acquire from doing small work around town. If anything, I'd recommend that you find some of the nobility and see if there's work that you can take on for them, or maybe more dangerous jobs. You're certainly suited for it, and it's the only thing that's going to pay enough for you to get equipped properly.
Table talk, I forget if I'm mixing this up with our mini campaign, but didn't we get a letter offering or requesting our presence for a job?
Wasn't that like the
That
mini
was-
campaign with the dolls, and it was like your uncle?
No, you did get
Yeah.
a letter for...
I think it was an Oris Ren.
Yeah, it was back in the capital. So you guys could go back there and see if it's still open. That was a long time ago, though.
It was.
Those assholes didn't come back for months.
Yeah. Fucking long time. Yeah, I remember seeing that in the Skyfall missions. I'm not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
If only we had a locker full of armor.
Hardly seems important now.
No, of course.
Wait, but it would be helpful, Edgar.
Well, I'm walking out. Well, we can't dwell on the past. I'm just walking out.
Thank you for all your help, Barjarger. We'll be back as soon as we are more apt to the task.
He nods and he says, "If
Or
you're
the
in the
next-
city, I'll know. Return back to Seba whenever you can, and I'll share with you any info. Maybe maybe the wizards will be lucky and scry a June or the Winter Lich at some point.
Fingers crossed. We still have the scroll of sending, so if ever there's a grave emergency, we can get in touch with you at least once.
Hopefully it will be on one of my better days, but yes, a good tool to have.
Well, Barjogger, and I'll kind of shout it from the door that I was heading to. From what we've seen, there's always a bit of good inside you, so we'll keep an eye out for it.
He nods and he says, "Oh, that reminds me."
Nice.
And he kind of walks over and, with you guys, leaves through the hall and talks with one of the guards there for a second. And after that, he kind of turns to your group and he says, "I've instructed them to hand you a portion of what donations there may be. Normally it goes to research, but I think in this case, well, important things can take precedent. Good luck out there. And like I said, as much radiant magic as you can possibly get a hold of."
I'll just bring up my gauntlets. There's a ton right here.
He closes the door.
Oh, fuck. Could have said that was cool.
Now, the guard returns, and he has cash for you guys. I'd like somebody to roll luck, please.
Cash, money, 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 money,
Thank
money.
God, I'm not rolling.
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
I can do quit.
Come on, little
Another-
pump.
Another
Come on, little
12,000 gold.
That's it.
You are handed a pouch with 15 platinum in it.
Right. We'll be sure to put this to good use.
The guard gives you a nod. He does it in a very matter-of-fact sort of way, and you can get the sense that this isn't really his business. So he just kind of hands you the cash, gives you a nod, and walks back to his post, leaving the rest of you guys just kind of clustered here in the main hall, or outside of the temple if you wish.
Right, so who wants to hold this who's not going to get carried away by bees?
Orello.
I suppose.
Or I can hold.
Alright, so how much do you have right now?
I.
Can you count that high first? Let me see it.
What am I counting?
Your platinum.
The end.
The really shiny, sort of bluish.
Why don't we just
silver-
split it?
I
do that.
agree with Kalik.
Alright, so 5 apiece. Sure. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
5
I had
apiece.
13.
What?
5 apiece.
You were given
It was-
15 platinum.
3 for you. 3 for you. 3
There
for
you
you.
go.
And I'm bad at math.
Oh, okay. 11.
Alright, well that's the start. But we're gonna need a lot more than that if we
Well,
need
I have
what?
about. I can maybe muster about 200 gold.
As you guys are standing outside of the temple, the strangest feeling comes over you, Tidge, and the amulet seems to buzz almost. Like you can feel an energy that surges into it.
I'll grab it and see what's going on.
Sure. You guys had wrote down a message into the thing, and it looks like a new message has appeared. And this is what you see. It's written right after yours.
Any of you guys know what Costa Por is? Or where Costa Por is?
I would say before any rolls need to be made, Edgar, you would know what that is. It's a pirate town near your old home city. And on the map, it's this right here. Sometimes it's deserted, other times it's full with smugglers. the law will occasionally come by and cleanse the place, but time and time again, this seems to be like the launching point for different pirate gangs and whatnot.
Is it like a fucking Pirates of the Caribbean Isle of Tortuga style place where it's just debauchery and
Yeah, there's no
and-
laws or anything like that.
Okay, so
Common
it's not
sense.
necessarily like full scorched earth raid. It's just more lawless.
Well, they come by and do that every now and then, but then the
Okay.
pirates just come by again.
I got you. All right. Well, going back to Edgar then. Well, if they're going there, I'm not sure how much we can trust them.
Yeah, and they're still rather vague. Oh, wait a minute. This is a brand new name. This one's Supernova.
Look, I'm not sure what you guys know about this place, but let's just say it's not the righteous and selfless that go there, more the self-serving and deceitful.
Yeah, you hear that, Thursday group?
So, you know when Metri told me complications will
Yes.
arise from this amulet? I'm thinking this is what he meant. Not exactly people that are aligned to our cause, as it were.
Perhaps we should wait until see what other information comes through, if any.
They should
I don't
also
think-
keep an eye out for my father if they're going around there. Doesn't take too kindly to that kind of activity. Anyways,
Right.
I don't know what we should do with that information. I think we need to focus on acquiring funds and equipping ourselves first and foremost.
I think it's a little too vague for us to do anything with, and I don't really think that we should be showing our hand.
What's the
So,
group's
I'll-
cash, by the way?
I have 9 plat, 82 gold.
Okay, so like 10 plat.
I have 5 platinum. I have basically 6 platinum. 5 platinum, 8 gold.
15, 16 plat.
I basically have 16 plat, 8
32.
gold.
6 plat, 6 gold.
Okay.
10
So-
plat, 13 gold.
Okay, so you guys have like 500-600 gold-ish.
Like if we wanted to go broke, we could silver 3 weapons type of thing.
Yep.
That's all we have.
Well, in terms of silvering weapons, I can go without it for some time. I am able to imbue my weapon with some magical essence. It requires a lot of my focus, but it is doable. And I think you guys have seen what I can do when I summon Metri's wrath on people. So, we should focus on those of you who, like for example, and I'll look over to Annabelle there, like yourself, who are skilled with the blade, but don't necessarily have anything supernatural or magical to fall back on.
Great. I'd shadow like one of mine. If it's effective against certain foes.
Well, if we're going to be fighting a lot of undead, certainly will be helpful.
Just
Rillo,
so
you probably want to soup up your Halliburton as well.
just to clarify,
Just so I forget.
Illusion, I mean, just for me, with real world thinking, I'm thinking if you silver a weapon, there's less durability. Is that the case in this world?
I would say in this world, no, you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, cool.
Caleb,
Unless the
you're-
blacksmith was shitty.
Kalek, what about you? Now your projectiles, do you make those yourself or do you acquire them from someone?
I suppose I could make them. I know the supplies needed, but in the past I've just purchased.
Do you think they make silvered ones?
throw on some holy water, and you got yourself something real nasty.
I think you're onto something there. We could probably do that. I mean, I can cast a bit of radiant. I have some radiant attacks with guiding bolt and sacred flame and whatnot, but
Yeah, I have a
it
little
would
bit of
it would be nice to have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
Well,
So I can save spells for other uses.
Well, look, I mean, while we're all out here outside of a temple with you two raising an eyebrow with every person passing by, how about we follow up on this lead in Norse Ren? You know, it's a bit of muscle work, but if their cause is just, it could maybe get us some funds. And I imagine in Norris Ren, and Tid, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I imagine they have some pretty notable smiths. It's a very large city, whereas Seba just seems to be robes, dust, and scrolls.
It's a very educational city here. My brain is a bit hazy on the everything from Oris Ren, but I mean, you'd probably be better off find some much better stuff in Volsinix, but for such a secular town as Oris Ren, there are some good smiths, I would imagine.
Right. So
Smithing wasn't really my forte. Go figure. But
so we focus on the silvering first, and the spells we can acquire afterwards. But you know, the fact that silvering is not a one use thing. It's something that we can consistently apply,
exactly.
and that it'll be reliable.
Well, with Calyx bullets, it's practically a one-time use.
Yeah, unless you go and try and dig it out afterwards, but who knows what condition they'll be in.
But I'll be honest, the goddamn thing seems to blow up on itself every 10 shots, so I don't know how much we can rely on it.
Would I know about like weapon modifications, like making keen weapons?
Yes. You would know that that's not something you can do for your pistol, but that is something you can do for your ammunition. You would also know, probably from some of the different novels and tomes that you've read, that silvered bullets do exist. What they're going to cost you exactly, you're not sure, but people do make mention to them.
Here's what I'm thinking, Connor. Table talk. You set up a jug of holy water on top of your gun, right? And you get a thin valve and hose that leads along the top of the barrel. And when you
It's like a super soaker. Oh my god!
When you open the valve, there's a constant stream of holy water that drops down. So when you fire, the bullet gets coated and then pack, fucks them up.
You should do oil though, because the water would just slink right off.
Or I'll just
Or
I'll just
evaporate.
Stay a little better.
I'll soak my bullets. Just keep them in a little pouch of holy oil.
Actually,
Well-
that might not be a good idea.
That's what I'm thinking. It'll fireball in the chamber. That's
I
not
don't know
good.
anything about these weapons that you use, but I don't know if that's a good idea.
Table
They see-
talk. Huge fire hazard.
Just explodes in my hand.
You should just let the non-gunsmith people, like, make modifications to it.
Dude, this is how your weapons work.
Yeah, sure.
And that's the
Yeah,
story
sure.
of how I lost my hand.
Well, I mean,
know how
there
there's
is
a
like
big
gun
fireball at the
oil,
end?
but like, so to lubricate your weapon and whatnot.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
How about
But
but
you're
I
also
don't think
supposed
holy
to-
oil would be along that line.
make a sacred flamethrower?
We're also
Oh.
talking about ammunition that isn't hitting a percussion cap on the back with a closed system of goddamn powder. We're talking about some flintlock shit where there's just a massive
Yeah.
explosion. So the
Yeah.
oil is going to behave a bit differently in
Oh, just
his
you-
gun.
I mean,
do you
maybe if you put
lube
it at,
like
like
the
the end of the barrel.
if you just instead of using whatever sort of oil you use to clean it anyways, clean it with holy oil all the time.
Gaelic is just sitting here watching everyone talk about his guns.
You guys are all idiots. But as far as getting all this stuff, I feel like going back to Ilos might be one of the best ways to do this.
Would I know? Would there be temples in Ilos or Ilos
Mm-hmm.
that would specialize in something like this, like silvering weapons?
I would say that most towns that have a competent blacksmithy could probably do that for you. Ilos is probably just going to be the cheapest. And if you wanted to get like a supply, like a large supply of holy water for cheap, that would be the place to go.
But we're sacrificing time for price.
Well, we can make our way in that direction, and if we find something before then.
Yeah, we have time. I think our best bet right now is to follow the lead in Aris Ren, and then
And if
after we have some money to spend, then we worry about where we spend it.
Now, I will say that you guys know there is a plaza here that has a number of portals, and there's a chance that they could simply teleport you to Ilos in little time, but you would probably have to pay a sum of gold to do so.
Buku bucks.
Just like last time when you guys blinked over to Soulsland, right? So if time
I don't
is a
know.
concern, there's
We-
that.
We got a fucking golden ticket on that one.
You got a little deal, yeah.
Right, so Aris Ren then. Do we want to drop a little cash to zap us there quickly? It seems to me like the more time this guy has to do whatever he's planning, the harder it's going to be for us.
Well, let's go see what portals they have here.
You got to spend money to make money, right? Isn't that what the rich are always saying?
Sure.
Nope, I can confirm. We don't say that.
Well, if you're rich, then we can fund everything.
Dad's money, right?
Ah. No one wants to live in anyone's shadow.
Speaking of money, why don't we go to Soulsland, get some few coins off your dad?
Yeah, I think if I show
Edgar,
up there, I'm
you
not
go to
gonna be
open
there.
your mouth to respond
Oh.
to Kalik, and right as you do, you just kind of like pause for a second. Maybe you finish your word, maybe you don't, but you see over his shoulder what looks like a familiar face in the nearby crowd, and you swear you see Jem there speaking with somebody.
Fuck's sakes. I'll be right back. And kind of just interrupting myself, I'll start walking over.
Edgar's about to talk to you, Kalik, when he just stops and walks away.
Did I strike a nerve?
I don't know. Where's he off to?
Edgar,
Maybe
you
just
step
a little
off
shade.
into the crowd, and they're dressed a little bit differently, blending in very much so with the populace around here with their, their long flowing robes and everything like that. You see Jem, who's having a conversation with somebody, and he very quickly ends the conversation when he notices you approaching. And he steps over in your direction, and as he comes up, he goes, "Ah, Edgar, it's good to see you again."
Good to see you, Jem. How are things?
Things are, well, they've been better, I would say. And yourself, how have you been?
Busy. Busy and with purpose. Can't complain.
Would you mind sharing?
No. Or rather, yes, I would mind. But don't worry, it's keeping myself not quite out of trouble, but nothing I think you need to be concerned with.
I see. And you and your companions, they're around here somewhere, are they not? He kind of like stops for a second and stares around in the crowd.
Jem, are you being coy with me, or...
What? No, of course not.
Can I inside check that?
You can.
Son of a bitch. Don't lie to me. Lie every time. Can't handle it. Alright, Viet Cobb. Give me that surprise. Oh! Freedom! Freedom! That's gonna be 24.
You can't tell if he's lying to you or not.
Come on, man! What if you have a
the
plus
fuck?
30?
Cast suggestion on this motherfucker.
he looks at you and he says, "Well, in any case, Edgar, do you plan on being in town for the next little while?"
No, not really. Why do you ask?
I see. And where is it that you're headed off to then?
We're not
you know
sure
I
yet.
have to keep tabs on you, of course, and whatnot.
Well, you've made that abundantly aware, but we're not sure, to be honest. We're looking for a place. Unless, hey, if you can suggest someone, then not only can I get something that I need, but you'll know exactly where I am. So, full disclosure, we're looking for a decent smithy who can do some silvering of some weapons, and maybe a place that can help us with some radiant magic as well. So if you have any hookups, and I'll kind of give him like a really half-hearted wink, then I'm more than happy to give you a little more info about where I'm going and what I'm looking to do.
Edgar, I'm a traveler and a shoe salesman. I can't help you. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, once you start deciding that you want to cut the shit, Gem, maybe our friendship can continue, and maybe we can grow from there. But until then, I'll look to whoever was talking to him. Maybe they're walking away. I hope whatever business you're conducting is fruitful in the shoe trade, and hope to see you around.
While this
Yeah, what's going on?
while this is going on, can I kind of approach and from 30 feet away cast Detect Evil and Good?
Okay, so what do you guys say as Kalik goes tailing after Edgar?
Wonder where he's off to.
He's probably off to find his master.
Probably. Or he's scared of the bee. He remember it's been a little
We
while.
should
maybe
probably
you
go
remember.
with him.
Yeah,
Tej.
that's true. He can't really be alone. So,
Good
Aurelio, you
idea.
stay here. Use
Motherfucker.
rope.
Kalik, you get like 10, 20 feet away, you're walking towards the crowd, and then you hear like mutterings from your group, and when you turn and look over your shoulder, you see they're actually walking towards you, a little bit hurried.
You get lassoed by Aurelio.
Put the rope away.
Tard Wrangler, go!
Gotta
You know what you're
rasp-
gonna do, but you can't be alone, you know that.
Fair enough. I'll just kind of point over where Edgar is.
Sure. You point over there, and as your group is brought to the attention of what's going on, you see that sure enough, Edgar is speaking with a familiar face once again. Here, even in the desert, it seems that Gem is nearby, and they're talking about something. Edgar doesn't really look impressed.
That shady motherfucker is around us all the time. How does he know where we are?
Maybe that's who he's scrying on us all the time.
I don't fucking trust him. And
I don't-
I'll cast
Have
it.
for a while.
Okay. You detect evil and good. Let me read the spell real quick. just for no reason. Detect evil and good for the duration. You know if there's within. Okay, you certainly sense undead, which makes sense as there's like a skeleton walks by you nearby in a guard uniform kind of thing. However. Can you make a? Can I get a Arcana roll from you, please?
Oh
my god! This is your most important.
no! It's an 8.
Connor, I don't want to say you're a piece of shit, but
I tried.
you did not try. That was a half-hearted roll. I couldn't even get my sentence out.
You don't sense anything odd from Gem.
Huh.
Now, back over there, Edgar, you turn to leave, and Gem stops you. It's not like a forceful hand or anything, not like he intends to fight or whatever, but he grabs a hold of your shoulder, and he goes, Edgar, please. There's no need to run off all dramatic and everything.
It's not a question of dramatic. Look, I've been knee deep in some shit, Gem, and I don't really have time for these games. So this whole shoe salesman gimmick that you're putting on while you're consorting with pirate lords on ships that are absolutely extravagant, and you seem to have a bit of knowledge about a symbol that we've determined is practically world-ending, leads me to believe that you're not so simple and basic.
Well, like I
So-
said, I've traveled around, and those were friends. They weren't pirates, I assure you.
I just kind of exhale and shake my head, and I go to turn to leave again. I'm so done. I'm so fucking tired of this.
If Annie was there.
Edgar, before you go, there is... Hear me out for a second. I've always had your interests at heart, and I understand that you don't exactly believe everything that I say, and that's fine. And I know that you wish to stop playing at these games, as you put it, but, well, look around you. And he kind of motions towards, like, the crowds of people going by and, you know, the different cloths and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Life is but a big game, and if you simply want to walk away from it, then you'll find that you die accomplishing nothing.
I think our methods of play, Gem, are a little different. I'm not
Certainly,
completely...
but you don't get to choose which games that you play, Edgar. That's the difference.
I'm gonna squint. Can I insight check him to see if he's just spouting off life lessons, or if he's trying to get at something a bit deeper here?
Sure.
Disco funk. Is that janked?
Which one?
16?
Yeah, it's janked.
Okay, that feels bad.
Well, he rolled pretty low, but we'll see. Oh,
Nice. 19?
congratulations on beating Gem in a insight check here.
No easy feat, I'm sure.
Yeah, you can tell that he's not just giving you life lessons here. There's something else at play that he's talking about that is much more grounded in reality instead of some, you know, like philosopher's take, right? Like when he talks about there being a game that's being played out, you think that he means like there's actually like a game being played out and
Sure.
you're involved in it.
So I'll casually walk up to him, and I'll be a little uncomfortably close to him, just looking eye to eye to him.
Okay,
But I'm not trying to intimidate or threaten.
sure.
And I'll kind of lean in to his right ear and go, and look, if I was looking to play the game, where do we start? And I'll lean back. And I'm just trying to read every fucking... Like, I know he poker faces so goddamn well, but I'm trying to insight check every little thing that I can. Just trying to glean any info that I can.
I would say, given the fact that you've just beat him in a check recently, we'll carry that roll over for this last little bit, and you can tell that as you say that to Gem, he's contemplating whether to give you knowledge on something, but he's gauging whether you're ready to hear it or not. And he for a long time just kind of stares at you here. Now, meanwhile, your group, you guys are, you know, like 30 feet away through some of the crowds and whatnot watching this, and you can see things have become a little bit tense, and no one's saying anything to each other, and Edgar is standing, like, just, you know, slightly too close or whatever. What are you guys doing?
Nonchalant, just kind of eavesdropping.
Okay. Make a perception roll for me.
Well, it's not doing a real thing. Standing there.
You cut out a bit there, Aurelio. I don't know what you were saying.
Oh. Arillo is just standing there with rope in his hand. Not
Okay.
sure what he's doing.
18.
18.
A concussion man.
Okay. With an 18, I would say that you've heard the last little bit of what I've said. The others in your group may not be aware unless they want to roll as well, but you know the content of the talk.
Yeah, I would just be like creepily staring at them.
Sure. But Jem stares at you there, Edgar. Do you say anything?
No, I'm just giving him a kind of stern but calmer. Like I'm just kind of forgetting the shit in the past, and maybe I don't know if I can even portray this through an expression, but I'm just trying to go like, okay, you win. There's a game. How do I play?
Okay.
Is how I would have delivered that.
Well, Edgar, you've made the first step in admitting that there's a game and deciding to play. I'm not sure where to begin, but I can tell you that others are more experienced than you and have been at the game for some time, and well, I can tell that you're tired of dancing around this. I'll just tell you now, things have happened. And I'm not in Seba just to keep track of you, but also to deliver a message from your father.
I furrow my brow.
He's calling you back home. I wanted to wait for a bit and let you finish things up in town. I know that your group is busy, but, well, his summons can't be ignored. And he is, of course, who I'm loyal to and who I work for, so I decided to give you a bit of time, but ultimately I have to tell you that you're being called back, and I can't take no for an answer.
I'll furrow my brow even more, but I'm not really mad. I'll just look at him. Jem, let's be honest. This was the case for the last, well, since I was in Elos.
It's not
So-
like that, Edgar. Things are different now.
I understand. Is it something we can discuss in the open, or does it require my presence in Soulsland before you tell me what's what? And I'm not even trying to take any info from that. I'm asking him matter-of-factly.
I can tell you now, but it's not pleasant news. Your
Oh
father's
shit!
your father's not calling you back for some noble pleasantries.
Well, don't tell me, but Jem, I know who you serve, but I also can see that if you're willing to wait, despite the urgency, that you do have some of my interests in heart.
He gives you a nod.
Now,
Now you see, Edgar.
well, I'm trying, let's say, to play the game. A game that I haven't ever identified as a game, something I've treated with a little more seriousness, but I'm a token on a board, as you are, and we'll see where we can go from here. My question to you, Jem, is the game I'm playing right now seems on a much larger scale than just Family Matters. So, if I'm going back, it needs to be lightning quick. I can't stress that enough. There's something major afoot, something that has brought us into the presence of, as I'm sure you know who he is, Barjarger a number of times. And he's no figure that we would approach lightly. So when I ask you this, I just hope that you answer me honestly. Do I need to go back right this minute? And if so, how can we cut this down in terms of time?
Your father's paid for everything. I can take you and your friends back there right now if you wish.
It won't be my decision to make. Do you mind waiting here for just a minute?
Certainly. But
And I'll kind of give him a tap on the shoulder. Oh, and you were going to say something?
when you tap him on the shoulder, he actually stops mid-sentence and he says, "Fine then, Edgar. Go speak with your friends. I'll be here."
Okay. Put the game on pause for me. I'll just kind of give him
He gives
a
you a chuckle.
half-hearted, smile, and I'll walk back.
Okay. You find your group is not where you had left them. When you turn to look over towards that open area, they're actually much closer. And-
Surprise.
Like a bunch of lemurs who got closer. Hi everyone.
That looked pretty heated. Everything okay?
It was initially, but as you guys know, he's tough to get a read on, but I think I'm getting a lay of the land a little bit more. Here's something that I didn't like to hear, which I'm assuming you are going... Well, there's no easy way to say it. I don't think you're going to like it at all. Papa Lyle is asking me to come back, and it's not exactly the same way he's asked in the past. Seems like there's something bad.
Come back for good?
I don't know. Now, Jem says he's not taking no for an answer. What that means, I think he's just trying to explain the gravity of the situation. I don't think he seriously considers that he can take all 5 of us, so it's not a threat. But I haven't seen him this uncomposed before. It's rare that I can read any of his emotions, and, well, I'm not going to say I was reading him like a book, because he's Jem after all, but let's just say I got to the preface, which is further than I usually get. Seems serious. Now, I told him that what we're doing is way bigger than family issues, and God knows, or rather Metri knows, that I've been with you guys for a very long time, trying to fight the good fight. So he assured me that we can go back to Solsland promptly, and that Dad seems to have paid for a quick passage back. So I leave it up to you, my new family, what I should do.
Well, I don't
How
know
far-
if I've...
Oh, sorry, I'll let you go.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if I've expressed this, but this whole mission, the whole reason I'm doing any of this is for family. So I would never... I obviously understand the importance, but do you really trust him? He
Jem
still
or my
gives
father?
me... Jem, mostly. I don't know your father. I don't have any cause to question him. I don't know much of your family life.
Right.
I don't.
This might be a blessing in disguise.
How so?
We could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We could go see your father
Mm-hmm.
and see whatever news, whatever he has to say. But there are other resources in Solsland. There's the Eldridge Inquisition, the tower we went to with mages.
Of course. Yeah.
They hunt rogue mages. And would you say this Lich, would he be considered a rogue mage?
Look, I'm compared to the tower. I'm might as well be dirt. I mean, we do have a little more sway than the common peasant, but their ways are inscrutable until you're in. So, I couldn't tell you anything about their motivations. If you were to tell them about a lead you had, I would ask you, what lead do we have other than name and no location? But I do think it could possibly be a good start. Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
I
in
mean,
my
there are-
experience. Go ahead, Caleb.
Go ahead.
it's fine.
I'm just saying there might be things in Solsland worth pursuing.
And I mean, in my experience, the rest of the world doesn't hold necromancy in as much esteem as the folks here in Seba do.
Certainly, that's true.
Plus, there's no... I can't imagine anybody of good standing would have any interest in the success of any sort of lich. Never heard of any positive connotations tied to that.
Well, except for Barjarger. I'm not sure if he qualifies, but look, we have a one-way ticket, or maybe a two-way ticket. I don't know, but there are resources there possibly. And if you guys would grant me this courtesy, I won't lie, I'd appreciate it. I'll try to make it as brief as I can. But
There's a certain artifact I want to procure when we go back. A certain trash can.
I smile, but my eyes are still kind of serious. Of course. Alright, well, it seems like I have a date with Edwin. And you guys can go about gallivanting in the tower, stay with us at the Lyles.
Is that your father's name, Edgar?
It is. Edwin Lyle. Mm-hmm.
Do we get to meet him?
Look, don't treat my acceptance of Jem's forceful invitation as any sign that he's good people. He was, but I left for a reason, so it'll be bittersweet. And I know you're just making light of a dark situation, but it won't exactly be a joyous occasion, especially if I'm being called back this way.
You may. I'll cede to the group here. I still don't trust him. He's pretty skeevy. I mean, if you said you read him pretty well, then I trust you, Edgar.
Right.
And mages offer work. I've got to assume that there's plenty. There must be some work up there too. Perhaps the mages need some rare ingredients or something.
Well, we have to consider that even if they don't, we can always come back to Oris Ren, right? That's the beauty of
True.
teleportation.
They have portals there for sure.
And you two, who have been a little quiet, and I'll look to Arillo and Annie. You alright with this?
Edgar, if the summons seems to be important, if we somehow choose not to go,
Mm-hmm.
and it turns out to be a life-changing experience that you missed, or possibly some information that you needed long ago,
Right.
you possibly would regret it, and I don't want that for you.
Here you are sounding like my god Metri at this point. I mean, I think I have to agree with you. I think my journey has to go back. The actions they've performed were in my eyes abhorrent, but I have to see if there's something worth redeeming with my own eyes. So,
You've had our backs. Let us have yours.
all right, Arillo, you're good with this, big boy?
Rope.
Has he even been listening?
I never know with him, but hey,
Yeah,
and
well,
I'll
Doc.
slap him on the shoulder. I'll be like, worth having in a fight. Yeah, what's up, Steve?
Table talk. In Arillo's mind, basically all that's going on is he's looking at the rope, and the only thing in his head is he's never heard this song before, but he's thinking of Dreamweaver. Just works out perfect for this.
I thought it was gonna
While
be
he's
Cotton Eye
looking
Joe.
at Annie.
What was that?
Never mind. All right, well I'll look back to
Time.
Jem. I'll look back to Jem, and I'll just start walking towards him, and I'll give him a nod.
I'm following, anyways.
So you've decided to come along then?
Let's play your game.
It's not my game.
Let's play the game. And I'll just kind of put an arm around his shoulder and start walking. I'll let him lead.
I'll raise an eyebrow at that, but just to myself, I guess.
He leads you further off, and I'd like you guys to collectively roll perception.
To find the knife he's about to stab Edgar with.
It's
Oh, wait.
possible. Yo, I've been rolling straight fuego tonight.
Oh,
This is a
18, 7, 13,
What kind of
13
roll is this
question
again?
mark.
Investigation. Or not investigation.
The question mark. What does that mean? Is there like a plus minus? Is there a spread?
Just a quick question. What is this check again? Sorry.
Perception.
Perception.
Perception. Okay, I thought I was thinking.
Really role playing the concussion, man. I love it.
Oh yeah.
13. Okay. You notice, of everyone in your group, something a bit fishy. Edgar, as you guys are walking along, different members of the crowd are gradually following along with your group. And it's kind of like that moment where you're going down the alleyway and you realize that that person that you bumped into in the market is actually tailing you. You see like a couple of figures that, you know, gradually start to move in the same direction, and they encircle your group. And at first, you're a little bit confused by this, worried that maybe like a mugging might happen or that something is afoot. But Jem seems to pick up on you noticing them. And he looks to you and he just whispers in your ear and he says, "Your father's guards."
I give him like a huge cocked eyebrows. Oh, so there are more pawns on the board than you let on, huh?
He has a lot of interest in bringing you back. Well, like I said, if I took no for an answer, these people would have to step in. I'm glad that you chose to come willingly.
So, when I told the party that I didn't really think you had a chance of forcing my hand, I guess I was wrong.
Well, you're correct in a way. It wouldn't be at my behest, but I think your father would have forced your hand.
Well, see what the old man wants.
Yes. Jem is solemn for the rest of the walk as you guys make your way towards that plaza with the different portals. And he seems to have with him a couple of those golden tickets. When you guys get up there, papers are presented, and before long, you're directed to a portal that's there and waiting for you. And around your group is a collection of about a dozen men that have gathered around you.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Edgar, is
Yeah.
everything still alright?
For the first time, we're not outnumbered. They're on our side.
You're sure about that?
One of
Not
them looks
really.
over in your direction, Tidge, and he has the complete look of somebody from the area. And at some point, he reaches up and pulls off what looks like a small, completely blank clay mask from his face. And it makes you blink for a moment because you had seen, like a suntanned face of a local there a moment ago. Then this copper piece being moved out of the way, or this clay mask. And underneath is like the sort of white skin of like a local from up towards the north or something. Like a disguise has just magically been lifted there.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that's racist.
He went in blackface, guard.
You had to look the part.
No. Was he wearing white gloves? Never mind.
You look for his hands. But there at the portal, Jem steps forward and he says, "Well, after you, Edgar."
I'll shrug and I'll walk forward.
Okay. You disappear through the portal. He looks at the rest of you guys as Edgar steps through.
I'll go next, like, immediately.
Okay. Do you guys all go in?
Aye.
We're in a June's round,
I
bitches!
was gonna say, I'll
Woo!
size up Gem as I walk by, because
Sure.
dude gives me the willies.
When you look at him, he looks at you, and you find it's difficult to tell what he's thinking when he stares at you.
It's difficult to tell what you're thinking. That disappeared.
I would like to give
I'm
him
laughing now because
pussy
the
face.
roleplay coming up has got us,
When you guys pass into the other area, it's not Solsland that you see. It's an area that is completely foreign to you guys. You have never seen this place before, save for Edgar. You're in a large courtyard with beautifully manicured gardens. There are bushes that have been trimmed perfectly into little square hedges and nicely manicured trees, a large stone wall that rises up like all the other northern architecture often does, little vines that come down the walls, and what looks to be a large mansion-like pseudo-castle as well, which is close by. You're all standing on a raised dais, and none of you are familiar with where this is. One by one, the portal flashes as different people step through Gem there, and then the different guards, their different disguises peeling off as they come in and take them off with relief. There are guards nearby as well, adding to their numbers. Edgar, you recognize this place. You're in the home garden, back at the Lyle estate.
Shit. Making me feel things.
Okay, like, how do they get their bushes to grow like that?
A lot of money.
He's not
The
wrong.
only correct answer.
As you guys step up, a familiar face comes towards you, Edgar. A servant that's been a part of this estate for a long time, the butler that normally tends to the front door. He walks up and kind of gives your group a bow, and he says, Edgar, it's good to see you again. I see you
I'd like to
return with
interrupt
friends.
him and hug him.
Oh, sure.
Completely break, like, because I'm sure he's always prim and proper. I don't know who this guy is, but I'm gonna totally hug him.
Sure, his hands are to the side there as you hug him, and then he gives you like a sort of awkward pat on the back. For everybody else, you can see that this is not normal. It's not like two friends embracing each other. And he says, yes, right then, Edgar.
It's good to see you.
It's just this way. He like dusts off his clothes and turns and walks off.
I kind of chuckled to myself at how I made him feel uncomfortable.
Does Jem look a little jealous?
No, Gem. Actually, you can make an insight check.
Good luck, bitch. He gets to roll 2d20s.
Oh shit! Not today
Nat 20.
though. A nat 20.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You cured yourself.
Yes, sir. 22.
So jelly.
Gem is worried and apprehensive, and you know from his look that he expects Edgar to receive some bad news.
Oh. Okay then.
You guys continue traveling, and the butler leads you through, passing by the different garden bushes and little like flower arrangements and things like that. You're eventually led into a grand hall, and there in the grand hall you can see is a figure standing very much in similar stature to Edgar, speaking with maybe some of the servants or other members of this mansion here. And he has the look of him, and you guys can tell immediately that this is Edgar's father. And Edwin turns to face you, Edgar, and he looks over, and he just says, "My boy, it's good to have you back."
It's good to be back, if I'm being honest.
And who is all this? And he makes like a sort of dismissive hand gesture to the unknown faces that travel with you.
I'll look at him. My salvation.
He
That's
frowns as he walks over. He doesn't give you a hug or anything like that. Not that your father's ever really been that kind of a person. And he goes over towards the different people that you've got there. There's a large sort of cane that he holds in his hand with a sort of glass bottle at the top that he tends to keep on him. And he, holds it towards the middle there and uses it almost like a prodding stick as he comes over to your two tiefling friends and, kind of like pokes at Kalik there and the manacles that are around his wrists.
Oh, shit.
And he looks down at it and he looks up and then he turns back to you, Edgar, even though, he could address Kalek, and he just says, interesting. Is this what you've been up to, away from home? Slave trading?
Just pleasantries for Seba, Father.
He raises an eyebrow. Well, no matter. I don't actually want to hear about it. There's more important things at hand here.
I'll kind of give Kalek a sideways glance, like, take him off.
I don't like to waste words here. I'm not like some of the people in this estate. And he gives kind of like a look over towards Jem, and Jem just kind of bows his head and says nothing. His expression is very neutral. And he turns back to you and he says, I'll be quick. You are here so that this family does not fall apart, Edgar. Your brother was murdered recently, and you're all there is to keep the family line going.
I mean, Edgar's like completely just blank face right now. He didn't even register what his father just said.
He looks at you and he says, Did you hear me, son? Your brother is dead.
How? And I look to Jem like in a panic, like hoping that Jem says surprise.
Jem is tight-lipped, and he does not make the same amount of effort to conceal his emotions. You can tell that he knew this the whole time.
I'll look back to Dad, and I'll start approaching him, sizing up to, what did you do?
I've done nothing. He was traveling back when a group who were still investigating attacked him on the road. And even though he had a set of guards with him, he was struck down. Now I know that you have your misgivings about some things that have happened a while ago, but there's nothing to connect those incidents to his death.
I'm looking back to my party right now, just completely bewildered, kind of mouth agape, not sure what to say. And I'll look back to Dad.
We don't know what it was. It could have been a simple robbery. The rapier that was his heirloom was taken, and his signet ring wasn't found either. The whole place was torched. We're still looking for the culprits right now. There are some suspects. I'm moving a great deal of money around. I know that you consider me to be a careless person.
I'm walking out. I'm sorry, but like I'm looking at the next exit and I'm storming out. And there's tears running down my face right now.
He shouts back at you, and as he does so, not only do you notice that he's incredibly like commanding and angry, but guards instantly step in front of you to bar your exit. And he says, "You won't be going anywhere, Edgar. This is more important than whatever strange things you've been up to outside of town."
Can I attempt to completely just slog one of the guards?
Sure,
Like,
you
just
can make an
right
attack
hook
roll.
him right in the face. I'm not appreciating this right now. Well, that would make sense. I'm distraught. An 8.
You throw a punch, and he manages to parry the thing. You know that a lot of the guards kept around the castle are, they're no slouch. There are some like that, but there's quite a few formidable men that your father keeps around to guard the estate. This being one of them. He parries you, and almost like plans were set in motion ahead of time, he goes in to bind you, and he grabs hold of your wrist and tries to, like, pin your hands together. And your father calls out and says, "Seize him, and the rest. Throw them in the dungeon. You'll understand, Edgar, that there are bigger things at play here." And all of the guards descend on you guys.
I cast invisibility.
I cast suggestion.
Jesus. Okay.
Let loose the bee.
We will go to a brief 5 or 10 minute break.
Oh, I done fucked up.
You want to take us deal with the bee demon, bitches?
Here, take this bee and activate it in that room.
Yeah, we're gonna die if we do that. I need a fucking breather right now.
But if we throw it outside of the
Jesus.
cell,
It can move through walls and shit.
oh shit.
You guys have no idea what that wasp beam is gonna do.
I'll be right back to it.
Yeah, BRB.
So now what?
I can tell you that Edgar's just gonna, eyes full of tears, keep swinging, probably missing, and get taken down to the stockades.
I'm banking that he rolls terrible on a wisdom save.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna out success Papa Edwin, dude. But I mean, you can try.
I'm just not there anymore.
I don't even think that's enough.
Probably
Yeah.
not. I'm not gonna fight him or anything. I'm just gonna
Well, I mean, you guys do you.
one swing and they're like, there, that little stupid gnome is done with.
They just close in a circle like that fucking Game of Thrones fucking shield move.
Just let everything calm down. We get taken to our cells. You follow Papa Edgar back up to his room and just activate the bee, toss it into his room, and slam the door.
Dude, I'm already on the ropes about my oath with Metri. I can't about just fucking summon a demon wasp and kill my own father. That would.
Oathbreaker!
Oathbreaker! Could you imagine? I try to call out Metri. Hey, long time since we last spoke. FYI, I killed my dad with a demon wasp, but other than that, I mean, things are going really well. I think I've made some great progress. That'll work out.
Visibility doesn't even give me advantage on stealth anymore because of my
What?
point of exhaustion.
Oh, fuck.
Just straight rolls. I think I only have a +1. Nope, +2. So that's
Well,
something.
If this doesn't go well, I could just cast Enhance Ability if you show yourself and then recast it.
have made a huge mistake.
To the dungeon.
That was like that escalated pretty quickly. It's like, fuck you, kid. I feel like he could have handled that a little better. Like
No,
you're grounded. Go
Yeah,
to your room.
is Edgar getting just sent to his room?
No, I don't know. I don't know with that, man. First of all, Thomas was the firstborn, so with the Lyles, you just take the secondborn and you send them to this paladin commune for them to train basically in war so they can become generals, while my brother would have become head of the estate.
Ahead.
Groomed for
Yeah.
succession.
So I was always just kind of the strong arm. I wasn't Thomas. So I very well might be going to the dungeons.
Okay, I'm back.
I don't think I'm gonna get like cornholed, but you guys might.
You can't see me.
They can't see
Time
the
is
cornhole.
now. For an hour, anyways.
Did you guys see this fucking gif of the Aussie who saves his dog because the kangaroo was strangling his dog?
Do you
And
see
then
the
he just-
Fallout version?
He just fucking walks up to it and right hooks the kangaroo.
Oh, dude, don't even. That. Here, hold up. Here, rewatch it now and see it the way it was meant to be. There you go, it's in ship poster. Tell me when you press play.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, go.
Classic. Lone Wanderer punches a kangaroo.
I was really hoping it was gonna like Vap's head explode. Secret part of me was expecting it. It cuts off at just the right time. Excellent. Just fantastic.
Uh-oh, Twitch is speculating a TPK is coming.
Nah.
Nah.
Well, not for me anyways. It won't be a total party kill.
True.
Y'all might die. See you on the other side, bitches.
Just drawing a thing or two in here and then we'll start. You guys had come in through the back door over here.
Oh,
I'm
coming through the back door.
channeling my divinity and trying to talk my way out of this.
To the dungeon. Lucian, can you confirm, is Edgar just being sent to his room?
My family calls that the dungeon.
No Xbox!
Cinderella.
No Xbox for 2 weeks. My dad.
Did you just call me butt dad?
But
These friends of yours are a bad example. Can't go out. Can't see them.
Delicious. Where is that? Oh, there it is. Just grabbing the... Yep, perfect. got Edwin there.
Edwin, you bitch.
And Edgar was back here, headed for the door.
Look at him.
These were clustered here. And then this one I'll color slightly, just so you know that it's gem, because I don't have a picture immediately available for him. Just make it kind of purplish. And then the white ones are guards.
This is like the same guy.
What do you mean?
It's not actually. That's the
Is
crazy.
Is this your dad?
Yeah.
No, in real
Complete-
life.
Oh. No. I guess he kind of looks like my dad without the beard. My dad wouldn't have a beard.
Okay, are you guys ready to die?
Oh.
Whew.
Well, I'm ready to start.
Okay.
Gotta get busy living. Prison.
Wait, everyone's back, right?
Mike, Steve.
Yep.
Steve. Steve.
Oh no.
Steve. Steve.
I restarted the game prematurely. My bad. I thought I heard him. I thought I must have been hallucinating.
I seen him.
We'll be starting in a minute. Those of you guys on Twitch can just feast your eyes on this beautiful drawing while we wait for him to return. This is a stairwell, by the way.
It's not a penis.
Does yours have a curve like that? 'Cause that's not supposed to be that way, I'm pretty sure.
Is it not?
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude.
Shit.
Yeah,
I'm
if
fucked.
it looks like some Armstrong thing trying to make a little reach around, then I'm
So,
sorry.
so they were just being nice when they said it was okay?
Heavy
Were they
titties.
really being nice though?
It looks like an elephant trunk now.
Nice.
That's what they all say.
If they say that to you, dude, congratulations. Or not. I mean, elephant trunks are pretty fucking.
Well,
I-
to Wednesday
I'm
group,
divided
where
about
everyone's
that.
penis is weird.
I'm divided about that one.
Could be a body size thing, you know. You could be really short, and then
Just hanging big dong.
yeah, but I mean, proportion-wise, like you could just, you know, like if you're a midget, you have a normal-sized dong. Wouldn't you think it would look huge?
Yeah, but I mean, good for him. That's like having a permanent MySpace angle. That's just fantastic. Oh. Elephant dick, elephant dick.
Sorry.
Are those 1,000 biddies or is that just salt? I don't know what just happened.
What?
Yeah, that's 1,000.
Jesus Christ. Thank you, sir. It's very gracious.
Big dick elephant biddies.
Yeah, is there one where it's like an eggplant and an elephant? And what is it? They always put the the water emoji or whatever next to it.
Oh yeah, the little squirt squirt.
Yeah. Steve, you motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
I am here.
What?
I've been here.
We've
How
been
long have
saying
you
your
been
name
here?
for like an hour.
I've been here for like the past 4 minutes. I said I was back.
No, you didn't.
No,
You
you
Didn't
care of
say
something.
anything.
No,
didn't say it.
Or you didn't respond when
my
we were saying
mic
your
was
name.
muted.
You piece
You son
of
of a bitch.
human scum.
How
Oh.
dare you?
All
How
right.
dare you.
Alright. So, as
Anyways.
this begins, the first thing that happens is... Oh, you're like right here. The guards immediately go to seize all of you guys. So, acrobatics or athletics, I need all of you guys to roll them, except for... No, everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
Would I not have been able to cast
Kamehameha.
suggestion?
Oh.
I would say, would this be before invisibility?
This is before they had prepped to do this.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Nat 1.
Oh boy. So
got me.
Nat 20.
yeah, put them all into the chat there, and we'll see.
That's right.
You said either or. Acrobatics or.
Or athletics. Yeah, it's your choice. So, Edgar, you are restrained.
Fuck.
Let's see who's next. Arillo, you got a nat 20, you said?
Mm-hmm.
3 people
Yep.
go flying.
Okay, yeah, this guy's trying to get a hold of you, but he can't. Tidge, let's see what you got. Oh, that's a nat 20.
Ooh.
So,
I got dead.
and you got a nat 1, so you're thoroughly wrapped up here. 14
Fucking-
for Caleb.
You're in a goddamn chokehold.
Does it go to the defender? I think it does in D&D.
Give it to her. Give it to her. Come on.
So, Kalik, I'd say you're wrestling with the guy
Oh,
here. And let's see.
My bad.
Oh, and nat 20 for Annabelle. Did you get a nat 20 as well?
Are you shitting me? No. I got a 19.
Oh.
Okay. So everybody is restrained here, except for Arillo and Kalik. Now, if you guys want to go into combat here or do some actions, we will go into an initiative order. But
Yes.
it doesn't... Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't look
I'm
like
not
they're
doing
here.
combat. What I wanted to do was channel divinity for +5 persuasion and talk to the guy who's restraining me. That's just to queue up the actions. That's what I.
Okay. Everybody go ahead and roll initiative, please.
Gizmo. Oh, you got. Cucked.
No!
You got cucked by the wall. Oh. Ooh, baby, a triple. Yeah.
I am so sad.
Someone took my icon. Is this a June? Oh yeah, June looks badass.
Oh my god. Classic
Not
Annie.
anymore. He's a skeleton now.
Skellington boys.
Alright,
Tilly
Annie.
boys.
You are currently being restrained here by somebody who is grappling you, and you still have your manacles on, so life is a little difficult right now. What do you want to do?
Oh, they're not locked. They're just, well, I mean, do they lock when they close?
Yeah, that's what manacles do.
Well, no, but, like, okay.
What a fucking sass response.
Sorry.
You know what she
Some
was
of
getting
them-
at, and it was just like,
Some of
well,
them
that's
you
what.
turn a key to lock them, and the other ones you just, like, close.
Right.
shut. I
Damn,
was wondering
you
if
know
that's-
about handcuffs?
When you
Yeah,
close
boy.
these, they're the kind that auto-close just by
Oh, so
having
they
them
have,
pressed
like-
down.
They have, like, the click.
They have ratcheting
like
teeth
police
if you want to
grade.
get... Yeah.
Alright, we got this.
She talks about like the different feature sounds and dimensions of fucking varying types of handcuffs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've owned a pair too, and that's not how it works.
Woo!
S-
I don't
so-
know what we're doing, so can I just hold my...
Sure.
Can I hold my action? I would just like to talk to him. Hi, buy a lady breakfast first. Then I'll just hold my action until, like, after...
He doesn't say
Edgar.
anything. Edgar, over here, it's your turn. What do you want to do?
Channel Divinity, Emissary of Peace, tears still going down my face. I'm gonna look at the guard. Sorry for trying to strike you, just please, I need to talk to him. This is completely unreasonable.
Make a persuasion roll, please.
Base persuasion! Oh, no. I didn't really roll that, did I? Okay, well, I mean, ignoring the nat 1, it's still a 12. So I don't know how you want to rule that.
He looks at you and he says, Master Edgar, I'm sorry, this is for your own good.
I
You-
look at him.
You and your friends won't be harmed. And he just, like, continues holding fast to you.
Can I mean, this is your call. We can bump down the initiative order. Can I try shouting to my dad for another persuasion check?
I would say you could yell at him. What do you want to yell at him?
Edwin, stop this! We're not gonna fight.
First name for daddy.
That was weird, dude. You said that in an extremely bizarre tone.
And then the pause.
He turns to leave when you call and say that. I'll let you make the persuasion roll, though, to see if you can influence him here.
Not in that one!
It wanted to. It fucking thought about it. Do you see that?
Yes! Yes, I did. I was so scared.
So that's a 24?
Yeah. Come on, baby back, bitch.
He calls to you then, and he says, instead of throwing you in the dungeon, we can talk now, but you'll have to calm your friends.
The
Do
fuck, I'm
anything.
cold.
And kind of like just trying to free arm and just trying to wipe the tears from my face. I think I was the one acting a bit angry, Father, but act like a goddamn human being. You break me the news that my only brother, who I love, who I haven't seen, who you corrupted, is dead, and not for anything at all, but by a wayward murder, and you have guards ready to secure me and bring me down to the dungeon? Has your grief really warped your mind this much?
He looks at you there, and what are the rest of you guys doing? Are you, like, still trying to escape, or do you guys chill out when this exchange between Edgar and Edwin happens? And I
mean,
will
never
say that if
really-
you guys choose to stop, you will be, properly arrested. They will bind you.
Aurelio's like has an angry look and he's like fighting off whoever tries to
Okay.
get onto him.
So that's a big no for Arillo.
Yep.
Staring down Gem.
That's it. Arillo, you do you, my man.
Hell yeah.
I'm just,
That's
you know,
not how
hanging
Aurelio
out.
talks.
I'm already handcuffed, so whatever.
She went into that really quick. I don't know.
Yeah, he's like reaching for a second pair, and like, I guess I'll put these on. I mean,
I'm
like, I
pretty
already
well in
said
hand also, so there's nothing I can do either. I'm pretty well in hand.
and you, Kalik?
Shoot him in the face. Shoot him, Caleb.
Shoot Edgar's dad. Use the no dad jutsu.
Can I?
It's the most powerful jutsu known to man.
Can I say? I'm still like, I don't want to be like restrained, but I want to say, you just told your son that his brother was murdered. At least give him a minute to let that sink in, and I'm gonna cast suggestion.
Tiefling. Oh, you're just dumb fucked up.
What is your AC, Kalik?
It's not very
Oh.
high.
Okay.
Nice. Excuse me, Jesus.
I think he beat it with the 14.
Yeah. You call out, and you go to cast a spell, and were you restrained or not?
I was not.
You were not. So you're able to cast the spell, and as you do, you hear what sounds like a shattering of glass and recognize a counterspell going off, and the sound echoes out from Edwin here. You don't know if he's a caster himself or if there's something else at work, but he looks at you like with, eyes that could, like a gaze that could kill you, right?
I'm going to the dungeon.
He simply kind of like throws his cloak dramatically as he turns to leave, and he says, "Lock them away." And there's just a cudgel that comes down and hits you over the back of the head, and you pass out.
Told you fucked up. I had a chance.
So you guys see Edwin turns. He goes to walk up the steps here. Kalik is knocked out. He is... he's reduced to his Nicolas Cage form. He starts dreaming of bees. Annabelle, you're already locked up, so, I mean, now you're double locked up. And Tidge, you're being held. This guy simply lifts you off the ground. The big problem seems to be Arillo, who then is assailed by 3 more people. And Arillo, as 2 more people come to try and help this man to arrest you, what are you doing?
How fat are they?
I would say none of them are overweight.
Okay, can I pick them up and then conk their heads together?
You can try, sure.
Yes.
Let's see here. Make a athletics roll, please.
Oh, yes! You just became my best friend.
Yeah?
Sure about
Damn
that?
it, that's only a 9.
You fail to grab the first one and to even move him into the other. And immediately they set about restraining you here. And one of them throws like a rope over your shoulders, and another one here who you've kind of got like a death grip on is just like fighting to not be choked as your arms are gradually bound here. And like when he finally manages to escape your grasp, you see color come back to his face, and you guys are all led away through a back door behind the stairs here.
Shit.
And as you guys are being led away, are you guys doing anything? I know one of you is concussed, so that's not really an option, but...
Well, I'm kind of used to it at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering...
You're just wondering if there's stew down the line.
This is my life now.
Oh, yeah.
This is fine.
My eyes are locked on Jem for as long as I can just glare at him.
Ooh, good call.
Because it's his fucking fault.
He's
Oh.
watching over, and I'd like you to make an insight check, Tidge, to see if you can glean anything off of him. Advantage versus disadvantage. This isn't going to be good. Oh, no.
Ooh. That's like the Roblox. Oof.
Be a 12.
Woof!
I mean, guys, should we be asking ourselves why he has permanent advantage on this? Does he have...
Jem's
We don't
face
know.
is stone cold, and he betrays nothing of his motives or emotions as you look at him. But he does watch you guys. He's not just staring at the ground. He looks at you as you're being led away, and gradually you guys are pulled through a small hallway. When you are finally released, well, Edgar, you've seen this portion of the estate before, but never from this side of the bars. You're put into individual rooms down here in the dungeon, getting your own cells. And the guards put you in there, turn the lock and key, and then walk away.
Do we still have all our stuff?
Your stuff is... yes, your stuff is still with you.
Can I make an attack on the door?
Hold on a moment there, big
You
guy.
need to use leverage. Lift up on it.
Really gonna quote Pirates of the Caribbean at a time like
You
this?
started already. You started this party. You accept the guests.
So it's like this, roughly.
Are you gonna kill us with gas? Like you did Monday night, way back when?
Give you
guys,
the Casey special.
No,
what if-
please.
what if Jem has actor feed and he is not Jem but someone else? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how he has advantage, guys. It's freaking me out.
We don't know that he has advantage though.
He does.
We know.
You guys don't know that, is what
I
I'm
know. I'm totally metagaming.
saying. Right.
This is happening. Give it to me. I never have it. I never metagame. I am totally doing this right now.
That's right.
What about Rakshasas? Do they have advantage?
Clearly, he's a green dragon.
You guys are thrown in here, and these are bars that you guys can see through. However, the walls here are all stone. And you guys are thrown in there, locked away. Your stuff is still on you, which is, well, you guys would know something that isn't really done with captives. So there's clearly, you know, something a little bit different at play here, right? You know, you guys have been left with all of your normal gear and everything just tossed away, and the key's been turned. What do you guys want to do?
I want to pick my lock.
I want to attack my lock, my door.
Kayla,
No, like my
I'm
hands.
slumping down the corner.
Oh,
did we get our own brass brazier, or did we just get the one from what's his face the first time we were here?
I think we. I'll check my items. I think we're sharing one.
I thought so too.
Brass brazier?
Yeah, for Find Familiar.
Ah, gotcha. Give the inventories a look. As for you,
Yeah,
Arilla,
thank-
make an attack.
yes. Fuck yes.
But I'm sleeping.
Good night.
That's so
FYI.
many.
There's a clang as you slash out, and you slip a little bit. The ropes around you make life a little bit more difficult, and you hit not the lock, but one of the bars, and this loud metallic clang goes echoing down the hall. And you can hear people talking down the hall, like there's probably guards there, but they don't seem to come in your direction, despite you smashing on the thing.
Can I make another attack?
Sure, yeah, you can just keep wailing on the door if you want.
Fuck yes. That's a 12.
Okay.
Roll high, Willis. Roll high.
You smash on the lock there, and your Hannel Burton comes down and hits it, but the steel is quite formidable, and though you manage to scuff the thing up and leave a bit of a scratch on the already worn old steel thing, you do just as much damage to your blade as you do to the lock.
So not very much.
Yeah. Over here, Annabelle, do you have your thieves' tools on you? Wait, do you still have the piece of shit thieves' tools?
Yeah, but Kalik fixed
I
them.
fixed it. I took it to a smithy and then used my tinker's tools for it.
Okay. Go ahead and make that check then.
Oh, I get advantage again, right? Or just my modifier. I just get my modifier.
I just start casting Find Familiar
And
for
is
an
this
hour.
Sure. Is this the lock on the door, or is this the lock on one of
My
your two
hands.
sets of... Okay, you remove one of them.
Oh,
102 cents.
Can I try
forgot.
another one?
Sure.
Okay.
Can I make another attack on the door?
Same
and
roll,
use
or can I
just shoulder charging?
Oh my god.
The second one is actually a little bit more difficult. The manacles that you guys got from Seba were pretty basic. The ones here, though, are a little bit stronger in make, but, you know, your tools are all fixed, and after the success of your first one, you just roll through the second one like it's a practice thing you've done tons of times, and before long, you've removed both of the sets. You can put them in your backpack if you want.
Yeah, the ones that I got from, they were from like the bandits that we
Ah,
took care of, and I just carried them with me.
gotcha.
Can I make another attack on the door, but this time use it as like a shoulder charge?
Sure. You can make a straight strength check then.
It's an 11.
Okay.
Well, no, you add your modifier. You silly bastard.
Really, there's a
Plus,
sign on the door that says pull, but he can't read, so.
It's true though.
Can you let me know when my spell's done?
That's a
Sure.
14.
Yeah, it's an hour long to cast, you said?
An hour and 10 minutes because I have to ritual cast it.
Gotcha. You run forward and smash your shoulder into the bars, but it does nothing.
Alright, can I make another attack?
Sure. We'll say that you are constantly attacking the door for the next little while. I'll let you
Okay.
know if there's
Oh,
any change in
Kayla could fucking
development.
die.
Taking a nap.
Oh, I was gonna say, can I take a mouthful of water from my water skin and spit it at Kalik?
You can't see Kalik. All you know is that he was dragged into the room next to
Wait,
you.
what?
Yeah.
I thought you said that. Oh, these walls are.
Of course,
Are
I get a nat
stone.
20 now.
And then
These
the
are
ones that
bars.
are facing. Okay, the ones that are facing the hallway
The
are
rest is
bars, and
rock wall.
then. Oh, okay.
Of course, now I get a nat 20 now that, you know, I'm not rolling to, like, fucking knock through the door.
I think the reason he's letting you keep rolling, dude, that even with a nat 20, it's not gonna do anything.
Probably not. Can I punch or attack the wall between Tidge and I?
Sure.
You're gonna pull an Anna when I tried to
Can I-
punch through the ship wall. That's
Yeah.
gonna
Just
work
explode everything.
Out. That's gonna work.
I got a 22.
Okay.
Dude, you should just
Roll a
rage.
d8, please.
Oh, the odds of you breaking
Start
your hands.
damaging yourself.
Nice.
Kalik's dying.
That's not a D8 though.
What?
That's okay. It's within 8. We'll take it.
Is that not? Oh, okay. Is that a D10?
It's a diamond.
I thought that
D10 's
was a
fucking
D. Oh, that is a D10. Okay. I was looking at it from far up. But yeah, it's still a 7, so.
You smash your fist against the stone wall there and break a couple of your fingers. In doing so, you
Fuck.
take 7 damage.
Fuck!
That's why he was like, "Oh yeah, you want to keep punching? No, we'll keep the 7. We'll keep it."
Time to take my calculator out.
Can I just like look across the hallway and see Edgar
46
and like
up.
spin the manacles on my finger? Edgar.
My head's just in my hands right now, and I'm in the corner.
He doesn't look like he's doing so good. You can also see Tidge from here and Arillo as well from the bars. He looks like he's holding his hand.
Edgar, are you okay?
No answer from me.
Oh, perfect. Edgar's not okay.
No answer for me. I'm focusing on shit.
What is this? I can't whisper to anyone.
No answer for me.
You're
Am I the only one who understands the gravity of the situation?
I'm pushing up daisies right now.
Can somebody roll straight luck for me?
Who is it?
Oh, that's me.
Oh, you roll so
You-
well.
I am the worst.
See, it's annoying because.
Oh! Thank God.
Alright, so you just have to say you are the worst every single time before you roll.
Oh no, it's normally it's bad even when I say that.
Kalik, you had been bonked on the head there, standing in that room, and when that happened, a darkness hit you, and you felt like you were tumbling through space, watching little pinpricks of light and stars going by. And at first, it was disorienting, but then kind of pleasant. You had like a little bit of like a warmness run through your body, and just all your cares and worries removed as you float through space there. And then something kind of creeps in and ruins the whole thing. As you're floating through space and staring at the little glittering lights, you hear a buzz, and then you look over your shoulder and then wake up in a cold sweat in what looks
Oh,
like
God.
a prison cell.
Oh God! I swat at my neck. Is there like any bees?
There are no bees, thankfully.
That could have been a lot worse.
Annabelle, you hear Kalik flailing around in his cell there. It seems he's woken up or is sleepwalking or something, but he's moving around.
The fuck do you want?
Hey, you don't have to be so rude. Edgar's not doing too well, and Tidge is in some sort of trance. And Aurelio's making a whole fuck of a lot of noise over there.
Which, by the way, I'd like to attack the wall again because I'm being the concussed, stupid Goliath.
Sure.
He doesn't realize that, you know, he's hurting himself, so.
If I'm hurting myself, I must be hurting the wall.
Well,
Yes.
Tidge is pretty, he's pretty smart. He'll think of something. He's probably
11.
You'd see the bowl and me sprinkling crap
Oh.
into it.
Yeah, he's busy. Don't bother him. Edgar, he's.
3 damage.
I imagine I wouldn't be too well off if I were in his shoes either. I'll just kind of like look over, see if I can see him.
You can see him, maybe like his feet or something like that if you kind of get into the corner of your cell. You can tell he must be sitting down in the corner on the wall that sort of faces you.
Well, give him some time. I imagine we'll be in here for a little while at least.
Years.
Besides, I
Rest of the
need to-
campaign!
need to give Tidge a little bit of time too, so just sit tight for a little bit.
Now, as you guys are there,
I'd like to hang on. I'd like to yell at Arillo to stop making noise.
Okay. What do you say to him?
Arillo, for crow's sake, quit pounding the sail. It's not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere.
Love it.
I am making progress. I think.
You think you saw the brick budge that one time.
The brick move. I can break.
Yeah, maybe later.
Okay.
Just relax.
I take nap.
Great.
Has he been hitting his head against the wall too?
No, he's got a concussion from forever ago.
Oh, I know.
The answer to
Although
that is
that's always
probably.
Yeah, probably. I was about to say that.
I am gonna wait until Tidge completes the spell.
Okay. Tidge, you are partway through the spell, maybe about half an hour in, when footsteps can be heard coming down the hallway here. It's... there's no way to know exactly what time it is or how long you guys have been in here, but it feels like you've only been down here for, like a little while. And, eventually you guys see what looks like a couple of guards that come down. And the guards are there with what looks like a couple of chefs and kitchen hands, and they have food. And the food...
Is it stew?
It smells really good, like the moment they're... Like even before they turn the corner of the hallway here, before you even see them, you can smell really good food. And the plates that you guys have are, like, exquisite. As they come over to the different cells, the guards, instruct them to push the food through the slot as usual. Are any of you guys gonna stop them? Each plate has, like, like a... give me 2 seconds here. Like a marble ribeye marinated steak wrapped in bacon, that kind of thing.
Damn.
The fuck?
Can I go
Rillo?
back? Can I go back to the position I was in when they threw me in the cell?
Oh, like pretend to be concussed?
Arillo is going to be at the gate with his arms through the door, like, give me that shit.
The guard, steps up and he says, away from the bars. You'll get your food soon enough. Do you back away from the bars?
Yes.
Okay. When you do, the chef comes over. He looks a little bit worried about getting close to this, like, caged Goliath, but opens the thing and slides the food through. And,
Wait. He opened the door?
No. He opens, like, a
Oh.
little... Have you seen a prison before?
Yes, I
It's like
have.
Okay. So he opens, like, the mail slot, whatever you want to call it, to slide the food to you. And they do the same for you, Kalik, even though you play dead. They just put the food on the ground. You hear the guard talking, unbeknownst to him. You're still awake and can understand what he's saying, but he says, he'll wake up soon enough, and he'll want something to eat when he does. Just push it in there. And these guys come by and deliver food to you all. Same to you, Tidge. No one seems to even stop your ritual thing that you have going on there either. They just push the food through. And Edgar, they do the same for you, and you as well, Annabelle, and then they turn and they leave.
Before they deliver food to everybody else and all that. Can I like scare the shit out of the chef by running up to get the food really fast
Oh
while his
my
arm
God.
is still in there?
Drops everybody else's
Oh my
food.
god.
Sure. He's like, he's pushed the food through, and at this point it looks like he's filling like a tankard of ale or something like that. And then you run over and he just, and like drops the cup and it falls on the ground and spills beer everywhere. And the guard immediately, you know, like pulls his sword out of his scabbard and steps in between the two of you there. But, you know, the bars are still in place. You're unable to smash quite through them. You run up and grab the food.
Oh, I'm
and,
only doing it for the food.
He just turns to the chef and, you know, the group leaves.
Can I like wave through myself? Thank you.
You see what looks like one of the servant girls there kind of like looks over at you, kind of confused. She looks like she might be sympathetic, but just like keeps going with the rest of the group, and they leave. There is a AAA, like a 2 Michelin star meal there that's been shoved into your cells.
And it's gonna be cold by the time I eat it.
Unless you want to pause your ritual.
Nuh-uh.
Okay.
I don't care. I mean, if it's poisoned, whatever. I guess I'll die happy.
I'm not eating
Fucking
it
hungry,
until I
let
see
me-
someone else eat it.
Okay. Well, you look
Oh,
over.
man,
you know,
Arillo's.
an eye kind of, just a slit as you peer across the hallway, and Tidge isn't touching his. Edgar hasn't budged, and Arillo's just mowing through his. But he's
Is it? Yeah, is it good?
Oh, fucking yeah.
I'm like, poor, remember? Is it good?
yeah, this is probably like the best meal you've ever been served, and here it is in prison? Question mark.
Keelik, it's really good. You should try some.
Yeah, maybe I'll leave it.
If you don't eat, I will give.
Can you make a Constitution saving throw from Arillo?
Oh shit, it was poisoned.
Uh-oh.
Wait, do I have advantage on saving throws? Yes, I do. On strength saving throws, never mind. What kind of... This was a Constitution.
That is correct.
That is an 8.
You feel something kind of like welling up inside of you there as you're eating, and then you let out a huge burp.
Oh, okay. That's
And then
it.
a bigger one. And then a bigger one. And then you pop.
It's like a Mortal Kombat finisher. Annie, do you start eating the food?
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
mean,
And Kalik?
No, I'm just gonna chill and wait for Tidge to finish his thing.
Okay. Seductive wafts of steam come off of the beautifully cooked meat there and all its little finishings and whatnot, and there's like a little red sauce, and it's picturesque. Like, this is definitely Noble's food, but you resist it for now, and watch as Tidge goes to cast his spell here, and
Actually,
let your food get cold as well.
while he's still casting that, can I cast Identify on the cell bars to see if they're enchanted?
Oh, I see. You can, and you do not detect any sort of magic from the cell bars.
Okay. Then I'll wait.
Okay. You guys sit and wait a while, and Tidge, you eventually finish your ritual there, summoning into existence your familiar, which is going to be what? The
An
owl?
owl again. Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna look like this. Put it in general.
I can make you an owl token. Yeah, let's do that.
Sweet.
Do you have that same picture of that stupid cat?
Booyah.
There we go. So your familiar pops into existence. It looks over at you, then looks at the food.
Alright, I will have it pop in outside the bars.
Okay. It does
And
so.
then I will move up to the bars. And I will try to cast invisibility on it.
Ah. Okay.
Invisibility says it's on a creature, but this is a spirit, so it might not work.
I would say that it would go off, and your owl becomes invisible.
Alright. Then I sit down. I look through its eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I move it out and up the hall.
Okay. Down the hall it goes until eventually it passes by a little stairwell that you remember having gone up. So around the corner here is a little room sort of shaped like this.
Wait, so the dungeon's in a tower?
Or sorry, stairs you had gone down. My bad. And over here, there is a set of guards that are there who are playing a game of cards at a table. There is also a door at the top of the steps here. And I assume you're flying this thing around silently, right?
Yeah.
Make a stealth roll for me, please.
With advantage because he's invisible.
Yes.
Plus. Nat 20, but 23 total.
Ooh, jeez. I don't think they're rolling one of those. Not today. Okay. Dora the Explorer? What the fuck? Cat dog? Okay. Your owl is able to peer at them, and from the view that you get, it looks as though they haven't noticed it at all, and at no point does anybody look up from the table or take a peek over at the owl.
So I'll just be muttering kind of quietly, around the corner, hallway, 3 guards to the right, stairs.
And then this ends with a door, one that looks formidable enough that your owl is not going to have a good time trying to push through.
No windows or anything?
No, it is windowless down here. You're in a proper dungeon, it seems.
I will come back, bring him back here.
Okay.
And I'll just kind of... Is there anything on the wall, or is it just spare stone?
There are items on the wall. You see what looks like little hanging metal hooks that have different things in them. Some of it looks like guard equipment. Other bits you see like manacles hanging there, that sort of thing.
Alright, I will find like the sturdiest wall, like thing is secured to the wall that like I wouldn't land on like a tapestry or anything that would move when I landed on it.
Oh, just a perch for your owl?
Yeah, and then I'm gonna keep an eye on these guys, and hopefully one of them leaves.
Sure. Okay.
And I'll watch him for most. I'll watch him until the hour's up, and like when I start to feel invisibility fade, I'll snap him back to his Fey plane.
Sure. Okay. Now, what are you guys doing during this? As Tidge looks like he's muttering about to himself.
Trying to persuade Kalik to eat the food.
Okay.
If nothing happened to either one of them, I would end up eating it.
Okay. It's really good. What about you, Edgar? Oh, you're muted, by the way. Did Edgar fall over?
Am I? That's weird.
Oh, you were the whole time.
Dun dun dun.
Oh shit. Not that I was talking a ton, but still, all of my good comments. Like I said, muted. You should knock on the door with your owl so they think someone's there and open the door. But alas, I was muted. No change for me, sir.
Okay. You guys sit around. Kalik, you begin to eat this cold food. Even cold, it's still delicious. And
Just keeping an eye on Edgar.
he does not seem to budge. Not a bit.
I wish I could give Edgar a hug. Not that he would like it very much.
His brother just died.
Isn't that when you're supposed to hug people, Kalik? Right, okay.
Time passes, and eventually the door does open while your owl is invisible there on its little perch. And when the door does open, you see Edwin there with what looks like a retinue of guards and some figures in robes as well as they step in. Are you
All right.
going to try and finagle your owl past them?
No, I'm gonna do that crazy owl head thing where it stays still,
The
but it like
face just
follows.
tilts.
Yeah. So I'll just follow Edwin, just like staring him down.
Sure. They get maybe like 5 feet down the stairs before one of the robed figures taps Edwin on the shoulder. And he says, as you suspected, sire, they do have magics that they're using. And he kind of looks over and gives like a frown, and then he points at your owl, like directly in its direction. He says, "An invisible familiar there keeps watch over your guards." And Edwin says, "Can you be rid of it then?" And he says, I suppose I could.
As soon as he pointed to it, I put it back in his pocket dimension. If I had
With
time.
that, it just disappears, and he kind of, looks over and says, "It seems they've ended the magic." And Edwin just kind of grumbles to himself, and they keep walking down the hall.
I will immediately stow the little bowl that I had, the little brass brazier.
Okay. You put away your seance equipment.
Or it'll fart or take a shit or something.
I will attempt to rip ass.
Oh, can I
ass
use
taking a pill.
prestidigitation to kind of cast, or like, make a little gust of wind and disperse the... Well, they saw me doing it. That's okay, I'm not thinking.
This
Disperse
is
this
why. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Any sort
Amplify
of
it.
smoke from the burning of the incense and herbs.
Sure. Yeah, you could do that.
Just...
This is why Dad never let me bring people over.
It's a bit smoky in here from the ritual that had gone, and there are some interesting smells floating about in the air. But Edwin turns the corner here and then moves up towards your cell. No surprise there, Edgar. Do you address him at all when he does?
No, I'm gonna wait for him to talk. I don't even know what's going on, really. My,
Okay.
my hands are
But-
still.
What's that?
Nothing.
Can you see his butt?
Nice. Can I look at his butt?
You can.
Is it a nice one?
Roll a
It's
d10.
saggy.
Alright, a D10.
Firm like mutton.
Yeah,
An
it's a solid 8 out of 10, but you're like, damn it, I can't fully hate this guy. If I am gonna hate him, it's gonna be at least partially out of jealousy.
But she's a 10 out of 10. We discovered that on the boat.
Mm-hmm. But real recognize real, right? Anyway, Edwin calls into the cell,
Well done.
and he says, "Edgar."
I'll gesture my head up, but not really looking at him. I'll be looking at like the wall or something.
If you hadn't overreacted and left and gone running through the countryside, it wouldn't have had to be this way.
I'm gonna take my signet ring off and place it on the ground next to me.
Straight up pouting.
And then I'll
maybe
make
just
eye
angry.
contact with him. And just not furious, but resolute.
I know you have your covenants and all of your holy worship and everything, and that's fine. And through the years, I've learned to let you do what it is that you want to do. But at the end of the day, Edgar, the family ends if certain things cannot be done to keep it afloat. And that is what I have done. And I know that you've never forgiven me for what the Lyles did to those other nobles, but had we not done that, they would have usurped us, and none of this here would exist. The estate, the family name, it would have all vanished into obscurity. Your brother understood that, and I have hope that you'll understand that one day.
I'll look up and I'll say, war was won, Edwin. Kids don't make for very effective usurpers. Neither do women. Priests. Cooks. Gardeners.
That's part of what I like about you, Edgar, is you have a mind for combat. There are many nobles who don't, but the game of nobility is not simply won on the battlefield. When you return back home, there are things that happen. There are people that are cast low by more than just swords and arrows. You don't understand how that works. But you're sharp, and I believe that one day you will. And you'll have to if you're going to keep this family running. And I intend to see that this family continues running. We're lucky that not all hope was lost, and that, well, whoever it is you want to attribute it to, the gods, were gracious enough to give me 2 sons, and at least I still have one.
I'm just looking at him like, get to the point.
You'll stay here. No more of this running around business. Your friends are free to go. But until there is a grandson for my estate, for our estate, you won't be leaving this place. There's
Damn,
much
I'm
that you
on
have to
fuck
learn.
duty? God damn. Rough life.
He looks over his shoulder, staring for a moment at Kalik and then Annabelle. He says, "None of you will be harmed. In fact, you're free to stay and enjoy all the luxuries that you wish for the time being. But you, there's responsibility. Responsibility you cannot shy away from. If the Lyles are to continue, you're going to have to give up on this silly quest of whatever it was that you called it, redemption." And you can kind of hear, like, there's spite in his voice when he says that.
Sure. I'm gonna get up. I'll leave my signet ring on the ground, and I'll walk over to the bars.
He looks at you.
Metri would say that despite all of your sins, your saving grace is your love for family. Fortunately, the application of that love is completely ridiculous and misguided. I'm not going to be here and simply bend to your will. If you want to move forward as a family, especially with the loss of Thomas, we do so as equals or not at all. And I'll kind of look down and look back up, loved Thomas. And for whatever reason, he saw what you saw. I didn't. And I don't think it was just a lack of vision, politics, or an inclination towards nobility or the game, as Jem loves to call it. I think I just try to keep things straight-edged and honest.
So, if you're hoping to use me as some kind of reproductive offspring of yours, you won't find me very cooperative.
I wish that's how it could be, Edgar. But truth be told, honest nobles don't exist for more than a couple generations. And that's just how it is. You'll come to see it my way eventually.
I don't think I will. But maybe you'll come around to mine. And I'll just give him a smile. And I'll kind of go back down and sit down.
Very well. For now, this is where you'll stay. When you can be trusted not to run off into the countryside again, you'll be allowed into your quarters, and we'll simply move a guard up into a position outside the door. But for now, this is where you'll be, until I can be sure that you won't go running off. I've already contacted some of the other noble families. We can see to it that you're paired off, and, well, in the worst case scenario, if you don't come around Edgar, you can at least provide me a grandson before you go off doing whatever useless stuff it is that Metri wants you to do elsewhere.
I'll just start, I actually won't sit down. I'll have my back to him and I'll start, I'll take off my belt that has my sword on it and I'll kind of gently place it in the corner and I'll just start taking my armor off.
Ah. I'd like you to make a wisdom roll, please.
Sure. Really trying, Metri. Really fucking trying. Straight wisdom?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be an 18.
You feel a divine presence in the air. It's faint, but you can feel that there's some sort of god at work, and it feels like Metri might be watching you at the moment. And as you put down your sword, and like it clangs on the ground there, that's the moment that he shows up, and you go to take off the rest and pause for a second. But after you pause there, you feel like you can almost discern his will, and he's not disapproving of what you're doing.
I'll take that as a kind of, I don't know, I'll have renewed vigor and resolution in that case that if there's anyone that could be redeemed, it'll be my dad, despite all of his misgivings. So I'll continue on equipping myself until I'm just down to my tunic, and I'll sit back down, but I'll put the signet ring back on.
Okay. He doesn't really stick around for the whole thing. After you've thrown a couple of pieces of equipment to the ground, you hear him scoff, and he turns, and with his group, they all head off, leaving you guys here in the cells. All of you would have heard that, by the way, that exchange that happened. The divine presence gradually lessens and disappears, leaving you to interpret the rest of it as you will. Maybe you're on the right track, maybe not, who knows, but Metri's nearby, at least in some respect.
Woo!
Would have been just sitting against the wall, just looking over at
Sure.
the whole conversation and at Edgar, just observing.
You guys are left alone again. Does anybody say anything?
So much for free to go.
If he wants a baby so bad, why doesn't he just make another one himself?
I should mention that Edwin is like, he's pretty old.
Dudes are fertile until they die.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Well, for whatever reason, he's left that up to Edgar here.
Check to see if Cialis is right for you. I'll kind of just, still clearly not over my grief, but comfortable. I'm gonna go pick up my cold plate of food and start scoffing down.
Sure.
And I'll kind of lean on the corner here so I can have visibility on everyone.
Okay. You see your friends there across the way. You've known that they were there in the periphery of your vision, but not really given them much attention given everything that's happened. They seem to watch you kind of concerned.
What are you gonna do? Not gonna stay with that dick, are you? What are you gonna sell?
I don't know what to tell you.
Tell us you're not gonna stay.
I don't want to, Tidge. I have.
Great. Then we're on the same page.
I don't know what to tell you. I felt Metri in this cell just now. And if I'm just gonna be straightforward and honest with you guys, I've been my old self a little too much, a little too comfortably lately. And my initial reaction would have told him to go fuck himself and orchestrate a great little breakout with you guys, but I don't know if that's the path for me right now. I think that if I really took an oath to find the light in the darkest pits of darkness, no, that's too redundant. And just pits of darkness, let's say.
I get the point.
Yeah, let me
Where you're
just shut
going.
up. Yeah, anyways. I have to believe that there's something worth redeeming in the old man. And the truth is, despite how completely ridiculous the situation is, the man just lost a son, and a son that he loved more than me. So I'm planning on giving him time, but you guys can do with your freedom what you will. I know
That-
the librarian's waiting.
The comment about a dad losing his son will kind of ring with me a little bit.
Hmm.
I'll hold back a little.
I'll just kind of be scoffing away.
I'll take a swig of my whiskey flask, and then I'll slide it across the floor towards Edgar.
Ah. A clinking metallic bottle makes its way over to you, Edgar.
I'll kind of just give him a quick chuckle. Open it, kind of smell it. Does it smell good? I mean, I
It's
would.
rank
I would have a
whiskey.
good...
It's
rank.
like Potter's whiskey, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
I'll kind of shrug like a what the hell. Take a very small swig and toss it back.
okay.
It's Evan Mills, and you're used to double malt.
Yeah, this is the Pabst Blue Ribbon of whiskeys.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
Well,
hey, PBR.
PBR is shit. Don't even
it's
start.
water.
It's great.
PBR is water, though.
What are you, a fucking bohemian actor from the movie
It's
Rent?
cheap. It's great.
it's an interesting thing to pair with your 3-star dinner. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'll go down to the 3-star ale that's next to my dinner. And I'll
There you
drink
go.
that to-
You wash
as
it
a
down.
chaser. Yeah.
Anybody else say anything?
You know, Tidge, you still have that wasp.
I do.
We could all die in here.
You should have released it when he was down here.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Kalik saying we should release the wasp.
So you know it's bad.
Dang.
Tidge, how about you toss it into Kalik's cell and let Kalik get acquainted with it? Does that sound good?
Little fear in my eyes.
I kid. Look, as disturbing as it might sound, and this, it seems a bit fast even for me, but I do feel like if I can turn Thomas's death into a change for my father, then it might be worth something in the end. So, sorry guys. If you're given your freedom, I would say use it. But I think my path with Metri is going to have to take a pit stop at the Lyle estate. At least for a little while. I don't know how long it's gonna take to break down the shell of a bitter old man like him, but if he really wants an if he really wants a grandson that badly, I'm gonna have to...
Edgar, we're on a mission to get radiant items, and
Yeah.
right now, you're pretty close to radiant.
Oh. Thank you, Annie. Very
I
much
don't-
appreciate it. You know, I haven't been hit on by a tiefling, especially in a cell, but treat this as a first.
Calls for the whiskey flask again.
I'm just like, clearly have a face like I'm kidding, and I'll just keep scoffing and drinking.
Okay.
I just moved to the back of my cell.
Do you guys attempt an escape attempt here, or do you guys turn in for the night, given all the crazy stuff that's happened?
I'm gonna turn in for the night.
Just
Okay.
gonna resign myself to my thoughts.
Sure.
And I'm gonna turn in for the night and IRL pee my little bladder out real quick. Very
Sure.
quickly.
Let's
Very
take 5 before we continue here, then. Be right
Cool.
back.
This time I won't leave.
It's okay if you leave,
So
but when you come back, just unmute, you know. BRB.
Yeah, I didn't. When I put down my headset, it must have like hit the mute button, and I didn't realize it because normally it tells me it's like headset muted, and then it'll be like, okay, cool. But I didn't hear it when I set it down, so I didn't know it was muted. So I apologize for that. But yeah. You know what? There's popcorn next to my bed. I'm gonna go grab that. Oh shit! I forgot I had Twix. Fuck yeah!
I'm back.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
Hello.
Oh.
Nice.
I'm back.
Oh.
Mick.
That pee made me feel things.
Like when Tyrion's peeing after the wedding.
Oh.
You'd have to have read the books. You did read the books though, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He spends like half a chapter explaining how great his piss was.
They muck up a whole bunch of stuff in the show. It's like
Yeah, like
a lot of major plot things get followed, but the feeling around them is like dramatically different than how it is in the book.
well, the Hound and Brienne of Tarth fight and they like never met each other.
Mm. The one that really surprised me, like early on in the books too, is just how rapey they make everything between what's her name?
Shit.
Khal Drogo and
Oh,
Dragon Princess lady.
Daenerys?
Yeah. It's like
They didn't make it rapey, it was rape.
Yeah.
like in no, like in the book, if you read the scene, there's like multiple times where he like stops and looks at her and is like, "Is this okay?" or whatever, you know, like. And then you look at like the way that they portray it in the film.
Is it really like that? I don't remember
Yeah,
it
like-
being that.
I don't
Reread
I
the
don't know if
first
it was
scene with
so
him,
much
it's-
regret.
It's like
There's-
totally different.
There was a surprising softness to him, I would say. But I mean, he was gonna do it no matter what. Like he's like, I'm here to fuck you. It's our wedding night, so it's happening.
hmm
He told her to stop crying and stuff like
I
that.
don't know. I felt like when I read it, it was like completely different to what I had seen
Huh.
in the film. Like, sure, the end result is, you know, two people have
Stockholm
sex
syndrome.
or whatever, but
I mean, I'll admit I read 3 books in a month on the
Jesus.
train to school, like
Mhm.
just back to back to back to back. So it's all a blur to me. But I thought I remembered it being like her. She was like what 15 years old,
Yeah,
Mhm.
she was young.
and I remember like I
Hey, it's
thought I read
2018.
passages-
Age is just a number.
What the fuck are you guys watching?
Dude,
Not
Game of Thrones, like George R. R. Martin made like Sansa's like fucking 12 years old when the series starts.
Yeah,
Um,
she's really young too.
very young. Yeah, so everyone's young in the show.
I mean,
in the book.
But for medieval times, I mean, that was normal.
Uh-huh.
hmm
So
For
we're
sure.
looking at it through our like common lens.
No, I mean I know that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like like a 15-year-old girl who's not fully developed, if you want to call it that, versus a guy who's described as a fucking like a walking mountain of man,
hmm
fucking 6'4", just going to Pound Town. That's like the way the description was. I
What
remember.
did I just walk
I
in on?
remember feeling like really like, oh damn.
I like to think that I like to picture George R.R. there, like this big fucking tubby guy with a beard and everything, leaning over a piece of paper, just writing like Pound Town. No, just like erases it.
No, I picture him writing it and just sweating like a creepy fuck while there's like
Droplets
empty,
forming on his forehead.
and
He
there's
starts breathing heavy.
and there's just empty 2-liter bottles of fucking Coca-Cola everywhere.
Mountain Dew all over the place.
Mountain Dew,
Doritos.
while he's just writing,
Like he's been trying to get Xbox EXP codes or something.
and he pulls up like a Dorito stained handkerchief to wipe the sweat off his brow as he's writing. That's what I picture.
Gives himself a little Trump tan.
Z says you guys are gonna get me another Twitch timeout again.
This is literary analysis. This is
Yeah. That's not illegal
this is
yet, is
college
it?
level stuff.
Anyway, I think we're all here, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What did I miss?
Nothing.
Some
walk
excellent
in and
conversation.
it's like you
Nothing
guys
wrong
are
with that.
describing
Nothing
a
wrong with that.
porno or something.
Nothing wrong with that.
It was all consensual.
Eventually.
So as you guys turn in for the night, you're all just going to bed, right?
I'm gonna try the librarian again.
Sure. Okay. You come up empty once more.
He's dead. He's so fucking dead.
Yep.
It's probably a new one at this point.
Things are gonna get interesting. Now one of you dreams of bees, and the other dreams of broken thieves' tools, and blah blah blah. Edgar, when you dream, you wake up to find yourself in what looks like a huge temple almost, and beyond the huge Romanesque columns that rise up forming the outer layer of the temple, you see nothing but sky, like you must just be floating in some sort of blue, cloudy dream world. And at the center of the temple, there's something making a very sort of rattly metallic noise, and you see what looks like a ball of chains that are all wrapped around each other, almost like some discordant spider web or something. And all of the chains run out from this ball to different parts of the temple, sometimes leading to other balls that sort of float there, sometimes going to the different walls and the ceiling and whatnot. And as the whole thing sort of jingles around, you realize you're in like a holy place of Metri. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna approach the ball, I guess, if I can.
Sure. As you approach, you can feel a divine presence there. Almost like every step you take, you're walking further into like an ever increasingly potent field of energy. Right, like the closer you get, the radiation turns up, and it gets so strong that at one point you actually have to stop. Maybe about 10-15 feet away from the ball, it becomes like electrifying in an uncomfortable way, like a heat that burns not necessarily your flesh and body, but like it tears at your soul. Like you can't go any closer.
I'm just gonna kind of dwell on the outskirts of that,
Sure.
just feeling the pain and kind of exploring it.
Okay. There's a voice that comes out, and you recognize it instantly as Metri from before that calls from the ball, and it says, "The time has come, Edgar."
The time?
The voice rings and carries throughout the hall and has a bunch of discordant sort of chain rattling sounds that carry in its wake whenever a word finishes. And it says, "There is a contract, one that is signed in blood for all nobles, that they act in an upright and just manner for their families. And your father has broken this contract, and every other contract that he has signed, he has turned away whenever it is expedient or convenient for him to grab power."
That's true. But isn't there a nugget of hope despite all of this?
All of his chains are broken at this point, Edgar. The only one that remains is yours.
And you would have me sever it?
You can sense, there's no words that come through, but you just feel like a resounding yes. The voice then continues and says, "He is but chaff, broken links that cannot be sealed once again. Too many agreements have been broken by him."
Metri, my covenant to you is paramount. It's the most important thing. It's what drives me and what gives me purpose. But you have to understand, the oath I spoke to you, and not such a place, one much more banal, was to always find hope and find light. Are you saying there is zero chance in this man, in my father?
He is now a twisted image of what he ought to be. There are other gods who may see redemption in him. Maybe Solon would turn him to the light, or maybe Bella would grace him with her kindness, but not I. Every agreement I've laid before him he has broken, and as my knight, as my cleric, my paladin, you should know what that carries.
I kind of give him a solemn nod. I do.
Know, however, that your path of redemption is not over, and the Lyle family name does not have to end here. You can still uphold that contract.
Despite Thomas, despite Edwin, my chain being unbroken gives hope to the Lyles?
Yes, any of you could carry it forward. Thomas was struck down. His story ended, unfortunate as it was. Your father's has been ended by his own actions. Even now, were he to turn back, there would be too much broken. But yours, though there is taint that exists, still has potential.
Well, how do I go about breaking this chain?
You must turn away from what remains of your family and find the good that has existed with it. There have been Lyles that have kept their promises through the years. You must take up their mantle.
And I'll kind of shake my head and shrug my shoulders. This road's been long and winding, but it's brought me here, then won't hesitate to take the next step if need be. Do you know where this mantle resides? Where I can carry on the torch in the name of good rather than a broken word of a broken man?
I have set things in motion. You will have to finish them. All I can do is open the door. All I can do is place the quill in front of you and put the contract rightly. You're the one that must carry it. When these doors open, I expect you to walk through them and carry yourself the way that you should.
Metri, I give you my word. If I, and I expect I will, recognize these doors and see them open, I will pick up the mantle of the Lyles, whatever that may be, carry them forth justly and with righteousness, in your name.
Good. Then so it shall be. On the material plane and the planes beyond it, the lives of mortals move in strange ways. You may not know when a door is open. You will have to let your soul guide you, but you will know if you succeed. There are others around you who are following contracts as well. Look to them, and you will find my light.
What of the fate of my father? Do I leave him to dwell on his sins in his now empty estate?
I sense your father's time of undoing is fast approaching. He is growing more and more desperate. I've watched him for a time, not in sadness, not in anger, but in disappointment as he breaks one promise after another. It will be his undoing.
Well, fate has a way of correcting the balance, so at least it won't be by my hand, but rather yours, and for that I'm grateful, as I don't know if I'd have the courage to strike down my own father.
In time you may have to, but when you do, you will be a changed man. Know that the time of your outcast is approaching its end. I see down the end of the hallway there are only a few more links till your chain comes about, and soon the oath of the crown will be yours once again, not bestowed to you by birthright, but by earning it.
I feel just chills come up my back as I hear that. So be it.
At that, the energy sort of pulsates out, and when it does, there's a blinding light. You see the chains begin to peel apart, not like they're actually unraveling, but like you can't focus on them anymore. And then you wake up. The rest of you are waking as well. One by one, you clear the sleep from your eyes as you wake up groggily in your cells, and you realize why it is that you guys are all so groggy. It's actually kind of late. And you feel like you haven't gotten a full sleep. And there's some sort of commotion in the hallway that's roused you.
I'm just quickly, but with composure, I'm gonna start equipping myself as a seasoned soldier would. So
Sure.
as efficiently as I can.
You run over, grab the belt, and with the scabbard and sword there, throw it around, get your tabard straightened out, everything like that, throw the armor over. You guys hear what sounds like the distinct sound of somebody taking a fist to the jaw and falling over. probably heard multiple times in the taverns that you guys have been to the world over. You guys hear that within the hallway as you're waking up. Does anybody do or say anything? Edgar is rapidly putting on his gear.
I'm just disconnected in the corner. Like, I can't get in touch with the librarian. I'm about to lose Edgar. Everything's falling apart.
Nick, God, don't worry.
I'll look around the corner
Sure.
and I'll.
You see
blink
what looks
the
like
cat out.
shadows dancing there. Like there must be a torch down the way, which makes sense, and two people in a scuffle.
Can I blink the cat and have it look around the corner for me?
Sure.
Kind you're only gonna see Jem coming to our rescue. I
Hey.
hope.
Shh, shh, shh.
When you look around the corner there, you see what looks like a set of the guards that must be there at the table, and what looks like a hooded figure that's battling with one of them. And the other one is pulling out a blade, and then catches what looks like a fist to the throat, and he like collapses backwards onto the table, which like ruffles and tumbles over. And then the other one gets like arm locked with him, and the two of them are wrestling there.
I'll blink the cat out and I'll say, "There's a fight around the corner. Just 1 against 3. Not sure who it is."
Can I pick my lock?
Sure, you can start picking your lock. Make a thieves check, please. Thieves tools.
I think that's an 17, 18, hang on, 17.
This lock is incredibly difficult, and you find that you're unable to pop the thing open. You've strained the tools against the lock and all of its different pins, but can't quite get the combination. Thankfully, you're able to retrieve them without breaking them, a welcome change from the last few times. Then you guys hear down the way another dull thud and some body slumping down to the ground. And then after that, a subdued set of footsteps coming down the hallway.
Am I about ready? My equipment wise?
Yeah, I'd say you're just like doing the last couple buttons sort of thing.
Okay, I'll wait next to my door.
When you look over, as you might suspect, you see a hooded figure come around and a familiar chin and like lower face there. And walking up to your cell, Jem takes off his hood and gives you a look, and he says, "Edgar, it's good to see you again." And he's clearly like sweating.
The power token that keeps on giving. I'm just gonna give him a warm smile and a gesture to the door like, I'm waiting.
There's not much time to explain. Oh, you don't want any explanation. Have you been holding something back from me?
I just give him a big smile. Well, I'm just playing the game, like you said.
He smiles to you and then pulls out a heavy metal ring with a bunch of keys on it, and he says, "Well, good then. Let's get started." And he undoes the lock there to your cell, and then comes over and gradually unlocks the cell for all of you guys as well.
Ooh.
Oh, I think it's time to get moving.
It is. Edgar, I have some things to tell you. I've been a lot more than just a shoe salesman in my day.
I'm laughing in his face right now, like just making eye contact. And not laughing at him, but just like, well, you think?
He gives you a
sell
big
shoes,
smile.
Jem?
What do you say to him?
You sell shoes?
Well, that's no lie. I have before sold shoes, yes.
Addie looks at her boots.
Alright, Jem, we don't have much time. Get to the point.
I've made some arrangements. Things aren't perfect. Your father has many powerful servants, but he's not expecting this. I think we can get you out. And if you didn't notice by now, he's kind of gone crazy.
Yeah, I don't think there's any redemption to be found in him.
Steve, take your mic out of your nose.
Are you okay, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here. My mic wasn't in my nose.
Good to Not sure I believe that.
Was it in your mouth?
Nope.
Some other cavity from which it blows and.
Stop! No.
And muted.
Jem turns to you and he says, down the hallway, I've set up a minor distraction. It's not the guards that concern me, mostly the magically inclined. I've given them something to pull their attention for a bit, but we are going to have to move fast, and you are going to need to be able to climb because the walls are our only option. I couldn't get the gate keys.
Jem, for the first time in the last couple of years, you will find no objection by me.
Well, I wouldn't put that away entirely. Again, you don't know if you can trust me completely, right, Edgar?
I'll say.
I walk through the door. You're the one who opened it. I can trust you. And I give him like a very reassured wink. Like maybe he might even be thinking like, "Fuck, is he so calm, cool, and collected right now?"
Yeah, he looks at you and
my
gives you
back.
a quizzical look, and then he goes, well, let's be off then. Come, everybody. We must make haste. And he leads you down the hall. Are you guys going with?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Following Edgar's lead.
Sure. When you guys pass by this area, you see the 3 guards there, one after the other, knocked out, and they all seem to still be breathing, like they must just be unconscious. And Jem makes his way up towards the door and creaks the thing open a little bit and peers down the hall, and then gradually opens the thing up and starts moving, and you guys start creeping through the Lyle estate.
Nice.
Now, I'd like all of you guys to make a perception check, please.
Done. Dunzo. Viet Cobb got my back. Nope, he doesn't. It's bad. Nice. Annie with the save.
Oops. Okay.
I don't know. Isn't Connor's 25?
That is
Is
pretty
it?
good.
I didn't see it.
Yep.
You can hear that nearby there are a set of guards that seem to be further down the hall and are probably approaching you guys. And as you notice this, let's see. Kalik, you would definitely be the first one to pick up on it.
I would just hold my hand up,
Jem
And
looks
point
over
to-
at you.
point to my ear, and point to where the guards are.
Ah, yes. He turns and he motions for you guys to pull back with him, like to go in the opposite direction.
I'm following Jem.
Follow his lead.
He walks over and then pulls out another little key ring and then opens up a door that's in the hallway there and shoos you guys inside with him. Edgar, you know what this is. It's just like one of the many guest rooms in the estate. And you didn't know that Jem had a key to this room, but I guess he does. And he closes the door there, and then silently you guys wait. And I'd like all of you to roll a stealth check, please.
It's gonna fail. I'm gonna get caught and die. Oof. I'm out, Lark.
The guards rolled a 2.
Hoorah!
You guys stuff around the corner there into the room. Some of you more quiet than others, and the footsteps gradually go by. And Jem eventually gives the go-ahead, turning the handle. He steps back into the hall and begins creeping again with you guys behind. Soon, you're passing by into a different little hallway, and he once again reaches for a door. This one not needing the key ring. He opens it up, and you see it looks to be the kitchen. And as he steps into the kitchen, you see there's a a cat nearby that kind of like rests on the windowsill and looks over at you guys, nocturnal as it is.
My
And-
javelin hand gets itchy.
Gets it. Oh no. Even kills his own cats. And Jem goes past and sort of shoos the cat and, gently kind of swats at it, and it gets up and, leaps off of the table and goes elsewhere. And you see why as Jem reaches for the window and starts undoing the latch and then opens it up, and the very cool night air comes wafting in here. And he looks over and he goes, "Well, go on then."
Is Aurelio gonna fit through this window?
It looks like it might be a bit tricky.
Have we gotten
I'll just break it.
like a short rest at
Oh
all
my
in
God.
the time?
You've gotten a short rest, not a long
Okay.
rest.
That's fine. That's all I need.
Nice.
Look, if we're jumping, I'll just do this. And I cast Feather Fall on all of us, but not Jem.
No, it's on the ground level.
Oh, is it on the ground? All right. He said something
Yeah.
about falling, so
Okay.
I'll
Never
go in after
Don't do that.
Jem.
I'd like
Do my
all of
best.
you to make stealth checks. Arillo, I'd like you to make yours at disadvantage.
Oh.
Is that a fat joke?
Yes.
Yes.
not only is it a fat joke, it's an obese joke.
Whoa.
That's
Whoa.
right. I went there.
Oh my
Don't.
god.
Don't do that.
No holds barred.
Those old UFC videos with just fucking chains and like all sorts of fucking super cheesy graphics.
The chair! Get the chair!
Mom, get the camera.
You guys make your way out, and while doing so, the first interruption comes from Kalik, who seems to kind of land awkwardly, making a noise. And at first, you're like, okay, well, it's still silent out here. Everything's good. Jem is already on the outside, and he's ushering the rest of you guys through. One by one, you make it to the outside until finally it's time for Arillo. And Arillo, as you get through, there's this moment where your shoulder kind of gets caught in the window on your way out. And as you do, you kind of use a little bit more force to try and grease things up, and the side paneling of the window pops off on the outside and lands noisily on the floor. And you guys hear what sounds like a dog barking off in the distance, and then the sound of somebody kind of like shouting and grumbling further off in the garden. You see a light that suddenly comes up further off near one of the bushes in the distance.
Can I summon my cat and have it run in that direction?
Ooh, good call.
Sure, yeah. Your cat runs off, and you can hear some guard who's like, "Vlad, what is it? Come on, it's probably just another..." And then the dog just goes wild, and you hear the sound of like very rushed pitter-patter and what must be like some unfortunate leash being pulled taut here as the guardsman is taken on a ride and goes off in the same direction that you had sent your cat.
Once it gets to like in a bush or something, I'll pop it out.
There's plenty of growling and barking throughout the night here, and you think you hear what sounds like other people rousing in the estate. Jem looks at you guys and says, "We have to hurry."
I mean, I'm hustling with him.
He turns and goes running for a different portion of the wall, and when he gets there, you can see that there's not really much for you guys to deal with. It's just like a rock wall with these huge stone bricks. But he reaches into his pack here. He's got like a small little bag at his side, and he pulls out what looks like a grappling hook with some rope. And he,
Can I raise a finger to Jem real quick?
sure, he looks at you.
I look at Tidge, and I just put my hand out like, eh? Think go none, big buddy?
Oh, Tidge?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't think we have the time. Maybe a little bit of both. I'll cast Fly on Arillo.
Okay. Arillo, you
Those
feel
of
like you
us-
could fly.
Who are
Strange.
Alright,
I
big
th-
man.
I
Very
think-
sober.
I think we need to do both. The quick ones who can climb should climb, but the rest of us should be ferried.
Okay, well, be swift about it. And Jem throws the grappling hook over the side and then starts to climb up.
I'll follow.
Okay. Arillo, who you grabbing?
I'll grab whoever's not grabbed
I'll-
yet.
I'll basically like shove Kalik and Tidge in his direction.
Sure.
I'll
can
grab
probably double
both
arm.
by the backs of their shirt.
Yes.
You grab a hold of them and try to levitate up, and the magic seems
Before-
to be enough to do so. What's up?
I'm gonna like flap my
Before I
arms.
get out of arm's reach, I'm gonna tap Edgar and cast enhance ability for what would be for climbing. Would that be
Strength.
more strength? Yeah, I'll do strength for him.
Okay.
I'll give Kalik a wink and I'll start climbing up the rope.
All right.
I can
Actually,
imagine-
I'll wait for Jem and Annie to get on the wall because I'm assuming I'm a big boy with my heavy armor, so I don't want the rope to snap.
Okay. One by one, you guys make your way over, some by flying, others by grappling hook. When Jem gets over to the top and sees you guys get up onto the precipice of the wall here, he also takes the grappling hook off and then leaps over the wall. The wall, I should mention, is about 15 to 20 feet tall, and Jem lands on the ground with like a the deftness that the cat had landed back in the kitchen, and it looks like he's taken like no damage at all. He just kind of like, it doesn't even make a sound when he lands on the ground.
Rakshasa.
And then he looks up at you guys and goes, "Come on."
I look at him like, what the fuck? Oh, can I do this? I'll whisper kind of loudly. Shoe salesman, eh?
You see him smile in the darkness there, and he says, "It's admittedly not just the shoes, but we can get you a pair. Now come down, jump."
I'll jump.
Okay. Make for me an athletics roll, please.
I have enhanced ability, which is advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Arillo, can you just fly me down there, please?
I don't want to break my knees.
Come on. Oh shit.
Okay.
That's a 24 for me.
Okay. You land on the
Can
ground.
I 3-point landing it like a superhero? Like,
You do, and it looks awesome, but it does cause 5 damage to you.
that's all right. I'll deal with it.
And it's loud enough that you see what looks like a couple of lights in the estate nearby come on, and some windows suddenly lit up by torches. And Jem says, "Oh, we don't have much time, Edgar. Let's get going. That was cool, though."
I'll get up and kind of roll my shoulder, crack my neck, and just start walking off.
Yeah, I'm not jumping off the wall.
Come on, you're the road.
Jem pushes Edgar out of the way, then turns back to see the rest, and, Arillo, you take Tidge and Kalik down, leaving just Annabelle at the top of the wall, and he goes, Come on.
Are you going to catch me?
No.
Then I'm climbing down.
Okay, make for me a athletics or acrobatics check as you try to go down the wall.
Oh my
Yes!
god.
That is basically what I expected from you.
An 8.
Okay. You lean over the side of the wall, get your foot into a portion between a couple of bricks, and start to go down, and things are working well, and then your hand slips, and you tumble down to the ground. And you take 11 points of damage in a loud thud.
Great.
Should have jumped.
You see Jem rushes over to help you up and offers you a hand.
I told you should have caught me.
Look, let's just go. Let's go.
In a hurry.
He doesn't even know what to say.
He just helps you up to your feet, and you guys start running. And as you guys are running, you can hear the sound of not just your, family dog Vlad, but probably all the other hounds being roused up here as something clearly has gone bump in the night. And you guys, you half-dozen escapees, go running away. And the last thing that you hear is your father's voice, Edwin, just like, they're gone! Like, get them! And a whole bunch of footsteps and people running, the sound of the gate opening. You think that you hear horses. And Jem is running with you guys. Now, your estate is kind of positioned in such a way that there is sort of wide open fields in all directions, but there is a small, small coppice forest nearby where you guys would normally get like your firewood and whatnot. And Jem leads you over towards this. And as you guys get towards the place, there's a figure that kind of steps out from the darkness that you can see lit gently in moonlight. And as he steps over to you guys, he says, "Master, is it time?" And Jem says, yes, it's time. Let's go. And with that, this strange shadowy figure who looks like he's completely covered in like black cloth gives you a beckoning motion and leads you into the woods.
Okay. I'm following, even though I'm now even just more questions. More questions.
You guys are led off into the woods there, and when you get into the woods, there's a couple of other figures here, all covered in black cloth. So the only real thing that you can see visible from them is their sort of dark outlines here in the forest. And one of them, for the first time ever, summons some light into being so you can see them. And sure enough, it's just like slits where their eyes are that you can barely see, betraying any sort of like humanoid features. The rest of them is all covered up in this dark cloth, and you can see that they have like blades and various weapons at their sides. And the spell that seems to be cast here, giving off a little bit of light, gradually causes a circle to appear in the ground. And Kalik, you would immediately recognize this as a teleportation circle.
Damn, these ninjas got skills.
I'll walk up towards Jem and ask, "Where are you taking us?" And I'll like motion towards the circle.
He looks at you and he says, "Well, to see some friends."
Last time you nearly brought us to our doom. Where are you taking us?
You're just gonna have to trust me. Okay, Tidge?
Don't trust you.
Okay, you'll just have to come along then. Can you do that?
He did get us out, Tidge.
I'm just there with my arms crossed, just kind of pleased with myself. I don't know, it's just for the first time I have direction, and I kind of feel like I'm finding more about Jem, so I would not be nervous at all.
We're going on an adventure.
And with that, the portal opens up, and one of the ninjas steps over and says,
I'm glad you adopted that term.
well, that is basically what they look like. They do have shurikens on them.
Nice.
One of them motions over towards the portal and says, the time is now.
I'll walk towards it.
Jem looks over at you and motions for you to go first. And he's gone. He looks at the rest of you.
Can I
I'll follow.
cannonball in?
Sure. Whee! You disappear. Do the rest of you go in? Tidge is thinking about it.
If Edgar went, I wouldn't hesitate.
Okay. Kalik is in, leaving Arillo and Tidge on the other side.
Fuck it, I'll go.
Arillo is gone.
Fuck.
He looks at you and he says, "Look, Tidge,
I tell you, if this...
I
Too
only
smart
want
now.
what's
I'm
best for your friend Edgar. He's the last hope that the Lyles have of... well,
You can soften your voice all you want, and you can help us out, but I still don't trust you. And I'll step through.
you see that he looks at you and gives you, like, almost like an uncomfortable grin. Not that he's uncomfortable, but, like, it kind of makes you
I will
uncomfortable.
stop at that. That was not the right thing to do. You're gonna have to drag me through this portal.
He says, well, I didn't want to have to do that. He just stares at you for a moment.
Just staring at him.
You feel like a pinprick at the back of your neck, and then you just pass out.
Yeah, right.
Your arms are like crossed there, and then just like, woof, and you're out. And we will end the session there.
You got fucked by acupuncture, son.
Damn.
I didn't really have a chance.
You had to fight a
man.
handful of ninjas in the dark? I don't think so.
What a
Jem's
roller
a
coaster.
shady
of emotions.
motherfucker. I love him.
I know.
We went from hating him to like, oh my god, he's our best friend.
Well,
Come
Maybe
on.
not for
Well-
all of you.
Well, Edgar was still on the hate train, but the moment said, you know, when that door opens, take it, and it was Jem, then it was like, oh, okay.
So, we will end the session there. I will inform you guys that I am going to be in the Far East for the next week, and it's the week after that where we would normally do the week off. If people are around and they haven't, scheduled stuff for what would normally be an off day, I will happily run. But if you guys aren't going to be there, that's cool. Just hit me up and all that. Otherwise,
So the
players, players, I think you did great. Audience, it's always good to have you, and patrons, couldn't do it without you. We will see you next time. Tomorrow is the last session before vacation comes up, so you can tune in for Thursday and all their crazy bullshit. See you next time.
Woo! Good session. That was fun.
See ya.
That was a good session for Edgar. That was
absolutely.
great. I loved it.
Mhm.
I was like, sort of in my head, I was like, did he make a new character and he's just done with Edgar? And
I was so worried.
did you pull a Terry and Darrington on us?
Yeah, I
was-
was worried you were piecing out because of your whatever lessons.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. A part of me did want to lead you on about that. I'm sorry, but no, I had no intention.
I was so worried.
You always got to leave that possibility open.
Yeah, I
like-
just felt it was more dramatic. Nah, man.
I was telling Ashley, I was like, is he leaving us?
I was like, we're gonna have to find some. How do we even leave? Like, I can't stay here because fucking Jem's here, but
You'll
Yeah,
become
don't worry
best
about it.
friends eventually.
maybe.
Nah,
No.
the timing's working fine now, and as soon as I can, I'm gonna switch off Wednesday as soon as I'm able to. So, if you guys are willing to tolerate this different time slot for the unforeseeable future, then I am still hard Wednesday.
It's all good with me.
Sweet.
Mhm.
Peace out, stream. See you tomorrow.
Bye.